Hey guys, looks like we got two in here. Texas is in here. He's saying I've got cheesy ties. Um, I I think old Curly Jaws is still gonna be in here on the stream. But he was trying to get the link I sent him for Maximum Overdrive um on his Xbox, I believe. And I don't think I've ever used an Xbox in my life, so I don't know anything about getting stuff like that to come up on the Xbox. I don't know if you have a browser or anything like that on Xbox. I wouldn't know, but I do have the link here in the chat. Um, for anybody that wants to follow along with the movie when we get started. I've just got it started at the black screen at the very beginning. This is from archive.org. Um, hey, Hall and Oates. Um, I'm not sure why that was the only place I could find it, but unfortunately it was. And I will tell you, it's not the best quality, but it was the quality. It was the only version I could find on the internet that I could give somebody a link to. There wasn't one on YouTube. I don't believe there was one on Tubi. Um, why Maximum Overdrive out of all the movies? Or could be this one was a little bit harder to find. Um, there's old Curly Jaws, yo. Um, but let's see. I just wanted to remind everybody that we will be doing the Don't Go in the House watch along tomorrow. And we'll be starting at 6 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. We'll be starting a little bit earlier, unless Texas has any objections, since that's his pick. Um, but I figured on a Sunday doing it, we might want to start a little bit early because people are going to be starting their work week and all that jazz. So, I don't want to keep people in here too late. And guys, I'm sorry if I seem so out of it. I had I had my snack here, pretzels and cheddar cheese, and Darcy grabbed some of my cheese right before I was ready to go on, and I had to get some more and had to put her in here with me so she could go ahead and eat it, and the other dogs wouldn't bother, and a fight wouldn't break out. Um, And of course, I started running a fever this evening again. So I'm kind of a little bit frazzled between all the things that was going on at one time. Um, so, oh, Curly Jaws, are you gonna? You still got the link I sent you, right? To get on here. I mean, I didn't know if you meant you would just be in the chat or you actually want to come on stream, but or on the live stream. If I see you backstage, I'll go ahead and add you. If you need me to resend you that link to it, I can do that as well. Um, let's see. In other news, I did pick up the main part of my Halloween costume. Uh, I decided after I got in the Spirit Halloween store and saw this cool um you think you need a new link to get into the stream, oh Curly Joss? Because I can do that. Hold on just a second. Okay. Hey Blair. Oh Curly Joss, I just sent you a fresh new link. But anyway, the Spirit Halloween store. I was just browsing around there today, and I saw this really cool like pig mask, but it looked like a pig scarecrow mask. I think that's actually what it was called. And hi, Darcy. So I got the idea. The first thing I thought when I saw that was that magnificent scene in Motel Hell where Farmer Vincent has the pig's head on his head and he has the chainsaw and stuff. And I was like, why don't I buy this mask and just be Farmer Vincent this year for Halloween? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to get me some overalls to wear, um, and some kind of like farmer shirt. There's oh, Curly Jaws has got. I think he says "fuck the monsters." I think so. I'm gonna add him in just a second after I get these announcements out of the way. But um, so anyway, yeah, I'm gonna get the overalls and like a farmer's type shirt to wear with it. And I've already got a fake chainsaw. So I was like, once I buy this mask, there won't be much more to get for this costume. So Steve thought I was crazy, of course, for getting this pig's head thing, but I think it's going to look really cool. But let's see what else we got going on. I'm I'm not sure about if I'll be doing anything on Monday. I guess that'll be a surprise. Tuesday we'll be doing the next installment of um, Matei versus Fergasso, and I'll have a whole new set of movies I'm talking about. Cheese Extreme Wednesday will, of course, be on Wednesday, and I'm not sure. Any number of things may happen. I may not have too much more, or I may do a lot more. I don't know. But with all that out of the way, I think I'm going to go ahead and add old Curly Jaws to the stream with me here.
Yo,
Hey, old Curly Jaws. You say fuck
hey,
the monsters.
yeah, those okay. I might have been way too high when I watched that movie, but I know for a fact that movie can go fuck itself now because Universal, especially Universal, took my live commentary down for the Munsters.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Universal took it down. Fuck Universal. Fuck that Munsters movie. It was a cheap piece of shit anyway. I was only giving it a pass because it was Rob Zombie. But
Mm.
fuck, it's in the same league as the fucking what's that other shitty movie? The fucking Lords of Salem.
Oh, yeah.
Like I was no, I'm not Pat. No, fuck that movie. No, anything to do with that movie. Universal's on my shit list.
Yeah, these movie companies, I don't know. It's
Like and you like I didn't even show any footage. It was just sound. I'm like, bruh.
really, could you hear any audio from the movie at all?
Yeah,
'Cause
you
that's
probably
probably,
could.
yeah, that's probably what they got you for. Because Steve is like tried to show things, and it's just been like trailers and stuff. But as soon as the algorithms pick up on the audio from a movie, bam,
Yeah.
it's they just cut you off.
It's ridiculous. Like I'm just like fuck. Like that. I fuck that movie. Like that movie is. I'm not supporting it. I literally took that movie and I'm like I gave it to my dad. I'm like here you can have this.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I'm like I was thinking about taking it back, but I'm like I'll just give it to him.
No, he maybe he can get some enjoyment out of it. Maybe
Shh.
I don't know. Maybe.
That movie. I seriously get that movie a pass, and I'm like, why? Now I'm like, no.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm eating on the stream, but I was a
No, I
little
don't
bit
care.
hungry, and I ain't even had any. I haven't had any marijuana. I haven't had any gummies. I'm just hungry. I'm just flat
I'm
out
just
hungry.
hungry. I
So,
feel it.
hey, Melek, I'm not sure if Movie Junkie John is going to be on here with us tonight. He asked me for the link, and he said he wasn't 100% if he'd be able to be in here. But even if he comes in later, I'll go ahead and add him. I mean, he can join us anytime he wants to. As well as anybody else, all you gotta do is say, "Hey, send me the link." I'll send you the link. And so, were you ever able to get the link to the movie to work with your Xbox?
No. I tried. I'm like, no, it won't work. Like, that
Uh,
movie. So I didn't think it was gonna be that hard to find.
well, I thought for sure there'd be like some links on YouTube or something, but
Mm,
we when we did Savage Streets, there was a excellent HD copy of that movie, and for some reason, Maximum Overdrive can't be on there. I don't get that one.
I mean, I got. I mean, there's a somebody put clips of it on YouTube, like part one, part two. I could do that.
Uh,
I'm gonna.
I mean,
I'm gonna.
it's whatever, or you just want to like just talk about it as we go along. I mean, I'm
Yeah, I
gonna
might.
I'm probably
Yeah,
gonna play the movie, but I'll turn the sound down so it doesn't distract anybody. But
word.
I'll probably give it about 5 more minutes or so to see if anybody comes in here that wants to one watch the movie or two maybe wants to be on the stream. But I think about 7:50 we'll go ahead and get started. Um, Oh, Curly Jaws, is there anything you want to promote or tell anybody about while we got
I
a few minutes?
just yes. Fuck the monsters. That's fucking piece of dog. Like Rob Zombie just needs to start his own movie company. I don't know why he hasn't.
He could do that.
Like fuck these other studios. Have your own movie company and then do what you want.
I think that's what a lot of directors should have done.
Yeah.
A lot of them that I like, instead of going to Hollywood and having to live by their rules, I think it would have been better just to stay an independent and do your own thing.
Mm. Have you watched that Jeffrey Dahmer show on Netflix?
I haven't had a chance to watch it just yet. Is it not good?
I mean, Evan Peters is good in the role. I just they really they skip over things, and I don't like that.
Gotcha.
It's really jumpy. I'm like that. Just yeah, like they were like could have I think done it better.
I think there have been some other people that said it kind of jumped around, like there were like big holes in the storyline.
Yeah,
I think even Steve said that because I think he's watched some of it. It just seems like I don't ever have time to do anything. I don't know. I guess I just need to make time for myself because I work usually Monday through Friday. I start work at 7:30 and get off at 4:30, and then
mm.
you got to get supper ready, and you got to take care of your dogs, and you got to take care of your other animals, and I just have way too
You gotta feed the chickens.
much. Yeah, if I had any chickens, yeah.
You should just get some. Steve probably like, what the hell? We got chickens.
He told me I can't have any more animals, no more.
Mm.
Um, Hall and Oates says Dahmer is good versus the average Netflix show.
Wow. The best, in my opinion, the best original show to come out of Netflix was F is for Family.
Mm,
That's funny. That was hilarious. But Big Mouth, I thought was overrated. Didn't
mm.
really like Big Mouth. I thought was kind of weird. Um,
You don't like Stranger Things. I know
Stranger Things is fucking unwatchable. I watched like half an episode. I'm like, this is boring. Um,
I think it's probably. I mean, I could be wrong, old curly jaws, but I think it's that generational thing again. I think because you didn't grow up in the 80s. You don't have a lot of that nostalgia for the 80s like
Yeah,
several of us do. Not all of us, but several of us do.
I'm more nostalgia for the '90s, the early 2000s stuff.
Hall and Oates says, I do enjoy F is for family.
That
He
is a
says,
Big
Big
Mouth
Mouth
is
is
trash.
trash.
It is. It really. It's fucking not good. It's just really. I don't. It got like 7 seasons, 2 spin-off shows, a mini. It's fucking like ridiculous.
So Dirk's in the house. Dirk says, hey, Dana, and hey, fuck the monsters.
Exactly. Fuck the monsters. Like I might do a video. I might do a video. I'm gonna go. I don't want to support it, but I'm gonna go buy another copy of the monsters and just to fucking destroy it on camera.
You gonna light it on fire?
Yeah, I'm gonna fucking destroy it. Like I'm gonna just fucking. Then I'm gonna take it back to the store and be like, "Here, you can take this piece of shit back."
It was like this when I got it. Give me that
Yeah,
money
it's like
back.
the fucking the disc is all scratched up, broken in half. It's like just yeah, this is how it was on the shelf.
Texas says, F is for family is fun. I liked Big Mouth, but the latest season sucks. I don't know. My take on Netflix as a whole is, I watch Stranger Things. I like
Mm.
it. And I'll watch a few other things here and there. But when Netflix first came out, it had some great movies on it. And now it just seems like they got crap on there,
I
in
only
my opinion.
like I only bought it because my grandma wanted. Like I was like she really wanted to have it, so I'm like I bought it. It was only like I think they're really cheap now, so I was like, all right, I'll buy it. Because I mean the Wednesday show's about to start in November, so that's why I got Netflix mostly for that and for her.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Dirk just got home from seeing Smile. It was pretty good. Genuine scary shit, is it? Oh, well,
Mm.
I definitely want to see it now, Dirk, because I saw like the trailer for it, which made it look very creepy. So I'm
Mm.
glad to know it is
I
scary.
might go see. I might go see Pearl tomorrow if it's still showing.
Yeah, I liked Pearl. I enjoyed it.
Did they show a trailer for Maxine at the end?
No, I don't think we saw that because that's what I kept asking Steve. I said, "Are they going to show the thing for Maxine?" And he's like, "No." He's like, "Let's go." So, so I was like, "All right, let's go."
No, let's go now. So do you think like okay, do you think it's just gonna be the three, or do you think this is gonna be like a franchise? Like it's gonna be like 8 installments or whatever.
I don't know. I think this is again my personal opinion. I think if Ty West is smart, he will end it after Maxine and just not go any further. But if they see money, they're gonna want to make more. So my opinion's not gonna count.
Like I want them to make at least 20 more.
You want them to make 20 more?
Like every character from like I want the next one can be like after Maxine you can do fucking Gator, have the fucking Gator have its own movie. Fucking Papaw can have his own movie.
That gator's awesome though.
The Gator was like it kind of reminded me if you there's a movie I think CK and Uncle Bill and I think you all talked about it before. I know the guys have oh it has the original actress from Texas Chainsaw Massacre in it.
Oh, you're talking about eating alive?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that like the Gator from that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
So Dirk says Dahmer is a piece of shit. Very fucking woke shit going on. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, John's in here. Cool.
it's very woke. Oh.
Hey, John.
What's up?
What's up?
No, I forgot this was even tonight, what time it was. I just got in like 30 minutes ago. I was like, oh shit, I forgot that's tonight. So I was like, I can probably get on.
Well, I'm glad we've got at least 3 people in here, and we're just about to get started. John, did you get the link, or do you have another way to watch it? Or
Yeah, I'm watching the archive
okay, it was
thing.
weird that it looks like shit. I'll be honest; it doesn't
Oh,
look
it's
very
fine.
good. But and I think Curly Jaws is just going to kind of follow along with us because he
Yeah,
was
I've seen
trying.
this movie. I've seen this movie. I think I can hear. Like, I think I'd be all right.
Okay, so what did Hall & Oates says? Curly Jaws wants a movie all about Howard. Oh yeah, Howard.
I figured Darren would be all over this. I'm surprised he's not in here.
Yeah, I hope he's doing okay. I hope he's not like sick or anything. Dirk says IMDb gave Smile a 4.4 and Dahmer an 8.4. The world is ass
Damn.
backwards.
Damn.
Yeah, I've been saying that for a long time. That
Didn't
stuff,
Hawkeye
Like,
play Dahmer once? The guy that plays Hawkeye back in the day?
he
um,
maybe did. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't remember.
I've wondered if there's actually a good like Dahmer like show or movie that did hit like did the I wouldn't say character, but the story justice.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of those serial killer movies, they fucking suck. Let's just like, is it like they really like they're really
Yeah.
cheap?
The
Like,
ones
and this
in
is
the
and this is
last, the ones in the last few years, I'd say, yeah, they're very
and
cheap. We don't
and
get
this is
anything good anymore.
and this is coming from me. So like that, a lot of these serial killer movies are just done like I mean like I don't like I really like to see like them do it right. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
well, like, what's this Ryan and Ryan Atkins and Stuntman Mark? We were talking about that. They were talking about like all those movies the other day, and what was they were talking about? Kane Hodder played Ed Gein one time, and I'm like,
hmm.
what the fuck? Like Kane Hodder is like way too big to play Ed Gein.
Yeah, that didn't make
And
sense.
then I know he played BTK,
Yeah.
which that one I never watched it, but it was like back in the 2000s, it was like every week there'd be like serial killer direct to DVD movie. I don't know. They weren't good. I agree. Most of them were
That
terrible.
hell that could be a whole fucking episode or whole show just on bad serial killer movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I've seen the old stuff. The old stuff was good, like stuff on Ted Bundy. If y'all have ever watched The Deliberate Stranger, now that's the way
Oh, the Mark
you.
Harmon movie.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was pretty good back in the 80s.
Yeah, and Mark
Yeah.
Harmon, being as he was known for a lot of comedy type stuff at one time, that shows you what a good actor he is because I was creeped out by him in that movie because he had the certain looks he would have at certain times. He'd be so charming, like they said Ted Bundy was, and then he'd just flip. And you would say, "Oh God, this guy's gonna kill me." If you had been there and like seen that look in his eyes. So Mark Harmon did an excellent job with that.
That 2000s one's hilarious. The one with the direct to DVD one with the guy. It was called
Oh,
Bundy, where the guy
yes.
steals like. There was one scene, and I'm pretty sure this happened because I haven't seen this since I was like 17, but he fucking steals a potted plant or something. I was laughing so because he's at this store because you remember Ted Bundy was like a klepto. He was kind of he it was part of his insanity is he was just like a kleptomaniac. He was kind of like out there. And he's like at this storefront and he just gets mad. And he like grabs a plant and runs in his car and drives off. I remember my friend and I were like, what the hell? So random for a scene, but yeah.
Oh man.
I'm curious just to go out and just buy these really shitty serial killer movies and just fucking watch them and just review them.
The one with the Gacy one with what's his name from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Francis. That one is not it's okay. I mean, it's kind of creepy. that's the only one I can think of that I watched. It's like not bad.
Because that guy, he looks the same. Like he never ages. Like that face of his, and that like you just like okay. So he went from Pee Wee to basically from wanting to steal bikes or trying to take bikes to wanting to rape kids.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Man.
Dirk says The Town That Dreaded Sundown might be the best serial killer movie, in my opinion.
I'd have
Town
to
That
agree.
Dreaded
That's pretty good.
Sundown is excellent. That's an excellent movie. Even the remake, I thought, was pretty decent.
Mm-hmm. It's creepy because it's the way they did it was like it wasn't really even a remake. It was like a movie about the movie. It was like the movie happened. And then the movie is about them researching the movie. It's kind of a unique idea, but it's not bad. I didn't think it was too bad at all.
I was afraid it was going to be bad, but then I actually sat down and watched it. I was like, this isn't bad at all. It's actually pretty good. Now, you've heard me, John, have you heard me talk about the Evictors?
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I know of it.
Oh, man. You talk about creepy. It's subtle, but it's just creepy, and it just keeps building and building and building. It's just an excellent little movie, and a lot of people don't talk about that particular one. Let's see. Dirk says, did y'all get y'all's Vincent pre-orders in? I didn't because I haven't pre-ordered anything yet. So
yeah,
I definitely.
50. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I didn't. Elvira is going to be on that. Vinegar Syndrome release.
I think the only two I got my eyes on are Amityville Horror 4K and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4K, or Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 4K. I got a thumbs up for one, thumbs down for the other for Mo Curly Jaws.
I got the Roadhouse last week, and I got Texas Chainsaw today. $53 for a fucking movie.
Now, Steve ordered the Roadhouse one, but as far as I know, he ain't got it in yet.
I was telling somebody about that. I was like, my friend Lee, because he buys some, and I was like, it's like $100 for 2 movies. Like, Kino Lorber would give you a fucking diamond ring for $100. Like, they would you get so much more from them. Mm-hmm. But like Vinegar Syndrome, it's like you get one movie. It's like, I buy it, but their prices are just, God, there's so much money, you know.
Steve did pre-order some more stuff today. He got me the Don't Open Till Christmas one. That's why I didn't order it myself.
Yeah.
And I think he got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 4K pre-ordered. And
is it for Christmas?
I'm hoping that sucker comes out or gets to me before Christmas, because I want to watch that dang thing before Christmas.
Well, there is an Elvira? I didn't know there was an Elvira. You were talking about that, Curly. Like,
yeah,
I knew that there was I don't know. Arrow Video posted something the other day about the teaser of the old movie, and I don't. But it wasn't that they were releasing it, but there might be something on Vinegar Syndrome.
Well,
I didn't check.
I saw that. I'm like, I want to get that because I love that movie.
Huh.
Dirk says there is an Elvira release, Curly, on Vincent.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Huh. Their site is so weird too, because they have all those partner labels.
Yeah.
You know, which, come on. That's not, we all know what that is. That's not, it's the same company. It's like partner labels, my ass. It's the same people doing it. They're just putting a different name on it. Like there is no way that there are that many companies putting out those random ass movies. There's just no way.
No.
Like, I just refuse to believe that. I'm sure there's odd people who put out like Sledgehammer on DVD, but like, come on, like, there's no way. It's the same people.
I think so
that
too.
Sledgehammer might be worth some money now.
Yeah.
I've got that. I've got that DVD, that Intervision one, or whoever it was that put that out.
Mhm.
But let's see. I was trying to think if there's. Let's see. So Texas says, I did, Dirk. I bought the bundle and a copy of TCM2 for a friend of mine. I wasn't going to
Damn.
get that bundle, and Steve wasn't either, because he said, what was one of them? Blood Delirium, I think, was in that pack for $166. And Steve says that's an awful movie. And I'm like, why would you buy a bundle with that? Because you probably can't offload it. You might be able to, but probably not.
That's the gimmick with
I'm
these
sorry.
companies, though.
I'm sorry. I'm not paying no $160 for a movie I never even heard of.
Steve spent over $100 as it was, just getting the ones that me and him wanted. So
Look, their business model's brilliant, though. They have convinced all these people, me included, that like, oh, we're just going to take these movies from the 90s and 80s that were on Cinemax, and we're going to polish them up and put some stuff on it, and we're going to charge you $50 and you're going to buy it. And by God, here I am. I'm buying Roadhouse for $50, something they used to show on TBS for free. But it's kind of brilliant. It's just, it's hilarious. Like CK and them were talking about, like, people coming out of the woodwork that say these movies are great. I'm like, come on now. They're not,
I did buy a T-shirt off their site. Did y'all see those new orange shirts that they've got that have the pumpkin and the knife in it, and it's sitting on these film canisters? It looks really cool. I had to buy it. It was $25, but I was like, that's just a cool shirt.
Wow, that's cool.
So I did go ahead and do that. Hey, 71. Let's see. What else?
I don't mean to hate. Like, if y'all buy a lot of it, and I buy a lot of it too. Like, I don't mean that offensive. It's just crazy how, like, it's changed so much. Like, it's gone from, like, buying horror movies to buying horror movies that weren't easy to find, to now we're at a point where we're not just doing that. We're buying movies that probably shouldn't even get a physical media release, and we're paying $50 for them.
No, I totally get it, John. I mean, I say exactly what everybody else is saying, and then dang it, if I don't turn around and do what I said we shouldn't do, but we do it. They've just got us hooked.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just like we're little fish swimming around in a pond. They're throwing out the lures, and we're going right for them. It happens every time. So Dirk says he might go back for some Paul Nashy goodness. Yeah, I think Steve might have got that Paul Nashy movie. I can't remember. And yeah, Dirk says Moon of the Wolf looks good too. Steve said he almost come close to getting that one too, but he said that was a TV movie. Pretty much, I think. I think that's what he said. Hall and Oates says that don't open till Christmas. Look good, Dirk. It did look good and I hate to say this because I used to, kind of make fun of people that got the slip covers all the time, but that dang slip cover does look cool for it.
For sure.
Okay. So I guess if John and Old Curly Jaws are ready, we'll go ahead and get started with the watch along, but that doesn't mean we have to stay on Maximum Overdrive all the time. That's what's good about these things. We can, have little side conversations and all that. So I've got mine queued up on archive.org or Internet Archive, whatever you want to call it, just to that black screen. It's like about a second in. So, John, have you got yours queued up there? Okay.
It's not. It's so loud in here sometimes with this. If I hit mute, it's just.
I'm gonna turn down the sound or mute the sound on this one. Oops. Oh, gotta run that back. Okay, so If everybody's ready, I'm going to do the 3, 2, 1 and hit play. Now, if you're watching a Blu-ray or a DVD or something
Or
like that,
VHS.
or VHS possibly,
Br-
then I'm sure you can pretty well get
Bruh,
it
I wish
started.
you know what's funny? You know what's fucking hilarious? I had
What's that?
Maximum Overdrive on VHS, and I had a VHS player about probably 7 months ago.
Yeah, well, I'd probably if you could get a VCR that would last more than 2 seconds, I would probably still have one. but but it just seems like they don't make them very good anymore.
The Sony ones are pretty good. They
Are
last.
they? Are they?
Yeah, if you're gonna get one, get a Sony. I went through about 2 or 3 of them one year because some of them just eat tapes and shit.
Yeah.
But the Sonys are usually good. Panasonics are usually good. I have a Sony right now. I don't use it. I mean, I use it to rip stuff to my computer sometimes. But
Right.
yeah.
I think the first VCR that my family ever had, we were kind of late adopters to the VCRs anyway. We didn't get a top load or anything. We had a front loading one. But Dad got it for Christmas, and I remember he got it from Service Merchandise, and it was an Emerson. And that sucker lasted for freaking ever. But then after that, when that one finally bit the dust, you couldn't get any of them to last after that.
Yeah, it's
But,
like the Sanyo TVs. Those used to last forever. You can't even buy that anymore.
Oh, I know it. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna do the 3, 2, 1, and I'm gonna hit play when I get to 1. So 3,
3,
2,
2,
1,
1.
play.
Don't little bit of super.
And I've got the DeLaurentis Entertainment Group logo coming up here. Probably if I don't make this thing look real big on my screen, it'll probably look better. I was reading an interview with Emilio Estevez where he said that his mom asked him why he did this movie. And he said, because I wanted to work with Stephen King. He was
Wow.
like, I know it wasn't a good movie, but that's why he did it.
It's different for him because he's playing like a country guy. He doesn't usually do that type of role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I only knew about this just because of AC/DC back in the day. That's how I found the tape.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like when they put it back out, whoever put it out in the mid-90s, it came out, and my cousin was like, oh, yeah, you should. AC/DC's like all in this movie. And I was like, oh, really? And I saw the back, and they really advertised it. That's why I bought it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got into it. Because at the time, I mean, I was into horror, but not like, I mean, being like a 10 or 11-year-old, you watch whatever, so you're not like actively thinking about it. But I just kind of stumbled into it. So,
well, there's the man himself there. I love this. People talk about how bad this movie is, but I still love it. I laugh.
It's not bad. It's different, but I like it.
It's a classic.
This is one I remember watching with my dad quite a bit growing up.
Asshole.
And I know probably Yeardley Smith, she probably gets on some people's nerves, but I love her.
Are you talking about the girl from The Simpsons?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I figured when you said gets on people's nerves, I was like, it's got to be that girl.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah. She spends her most of this movie going, Curtis.
Yeah, I don't know why. That's the only. If I just say one bad thing about the movie, it'd probably be her.
Really, I love her.
I'm like the green truck should have just ran her.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the steamroller scene is still crazy. That was the thing as a
kid.
That
always gets me. That was always like, oh, it just really just.
Yeah.
Really cringe. Like,
It's like that old Joe Bob rule. You don't, what is it? He was talking about, you don't kill the kid. You don't put
Right.
children in peril. Like, that's just breaking it, which is pretty bold for a movie. I mean, most
Oh,
people wouldn't
yeah.
do that.
No, and it's really, I mean, it's violent. That sucker rolls right over that kid.
that'd probably be the worst way to go out, being rolled over by that fucking thing.
It's like you see it coming and there's nothing you could do and it just rolls right over you.
That
But
sounds like something.
something else I like about this, and I like it with a lot of Stephen King stories and adaptations of his books, is these are the kind of people I'm familiar with. These kind of they're not really country people per se, but they they sound and act like country people. And that just makes me comfortable, you know, rather than watching these glamorous Hollywood type people. But I don't know if anybody else feels that way about it or not.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent for sure. It's a lot of truck stops. It just, watching this movie, you can't help but think of like Huddle House and Waffle House and shit, you know,
That
and
sounds
like
good.
South. But it's very like, this movie is, it's real, it's definitely mean spirited in a lot of ways. Like,
Oh,
something
yeah.
about it is very, I don't know. It's hard to kind of explain that, but just the way the characters act, like, it's rough. Like, everybody's just like, it's not. Is that there's only like a few real likable people in the movie.
Right. I
Emilio
mean,
Estevez and like the husband of the girl from The Simpsons. He's cool.
mhm.
The little kid, you kind of like him.
I like Laura Harrington's character too, the one that ends up getting with Emilio Estevez.
Yeah.
Brett.
The sales guy is a piece of shit. The Bible
Oh, the
salesman.
Bible
Oh,
salesman. He's completely sleazy.
that guy's rough. That guy's horrible. And Pat Hingle, the cook, the
Mhm.
owner or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always funny when people write movies like this because you got to wonder like what they're thinking. Like Stephen, well, when he wrote this story, like who he's basing this on and stuff.
I
Because I
heard
bet that the story wasn't this long. I haven't read it, but it probably wasn't very long at all, was it?
it wasn't. I remember reading it. The story was actually called Trucks, and they like several years after Maximum Overdrive came out, they tried to make kind of like a made for TV movie with Timothy Busfield, I think, but it just wasn't very good. It didn't have the magic of this film.
I think I might have seen it. I remember it was on Sci-Fi Channel or something. I didn't
Mhm.
watch it, but I might have watched it. I remember it coming out though.
I'll tell you what's sad. What happened to this truck with the Green Goblin face on it?
Mm-hmm.
It just fell into total disrepair, but somebody was trying to fix it up.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Hmm.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I wondered. I don't have the Blu-ray. I mean, I haven't seen this movie since probably VHS days. I used to watch it like every week though, so I never got
Oh,
to.
I watched it
Yeah.
tons.
I missed out on the Vestron. I didn't get it.
Oh, I got the Vestron release. It looks really good on there.
Yeah, I need to get it at some point. A lot of that stuff, I really didn't get back heavy into collecting. I mean, I got in 2015, but I really didn't get hardcore back into it until like 2019. So
Mhm.
like I miss so much. Like I would see stuff come out, but I wouldn't buy it. So a lot of these things that like the Scream Factories and shit, I still miss a lot of it because I just didn't get it at the time.
So
Investron, a lot of their good stuff too.
Texas asking, did you start the movie yet? Yes, Texas, we did. Let me see if I can get you a time on there. 7 minutes and 40 seconds, I think,
Yeah.
about where I'm at. Ooh, Dirk's having T-bone and asparagus. That sounds really good.
Yeah, I went and got Five Guys and then came back.
Ooh, Five Guys sounds good too.
I'm thinking Little Caesars, maybe.
Nice.
We had Papa John's last night. Speaking of pizza,
Papa, the Papa John's near me that burnt down.
Oh,
Yeah, we. It burned down to fucking ground.
I love this guy in the arcade.
oh yeah. That's It's funny. That's Giancarlo. I forget his name. Giancarlo Esposito, I think, but it's AKA he's the guy from Breaking Bad, and
Oh, okay.
he was also in this one of the Star Wars shows. He plays the villain in the Mandalorian, but he was oh god, I forget his name in Breaking Bad. He's like the main villain, the drug peddler. He owns the chicken joint. I hadn't thought about that in a while, but yeah, he's a big actor now. But he's kind of in these bit parts in these '80s movies. It's kind of funny.
Now this guy here, I don't know if you guys have seen that movie Axe, that old movie Axe about the bank robbers or whatever that end up at this old guy's house where his granddaughter takes care of him, and she ends up killing these bank robbers, but he's like the head bank robber on that movie.
I hadn't seen that one. Mm-mm.
There's some naked chicks all over the wall. It ain't a truck stop if you don't have naked ladies all over the wall somewhere, I guess.
That's funny. Yeah, it's like the truck stop in Texas Chainsaw 3 with the Alfredo guy where he's like cutting up the pictures and shit.
Right.
It's like the weirdest character. Yeah, there's a lot of like heat. It's hot in this movie. A lot of like sweat.
Yeah.
It's like very, I don't know. It's very, yeah. It was. I guess they filmed here because of the tax incentives back in the '80s. I think. What was it? North Carolina was like a big hub for stuff.
Yeah, I think. Oh, what's his face? Oh gosh, I'm totally forgetting his name now. He had a movie studios.
Dino De Laurentiis.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. His daughter's on the yeah, right. His daughter's on the Food Network now. Is what's funny.
Oh, is she?
Yeah. If you ever watch that, if you've ever seen that Giada girl on the food channels with the pointy nose, she's got like the big boobs and the pointy nose.
I think I know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
that's Dino De Laurentiis' daughter.
Oh,
I didn't know that because my wife was watching it one day, and she was like looking her up, and it's a Giada De Laurentiis, and I'm like, and I was just like, that's got to be related, and yeah, it was.
Now the gal that's cooking here, she was 3 months pregnant when this movie was being filmed. And so there were some dangerous scenes that she was in, and she was kind of concerned about it, which I would be too.
Yeah, she's real country too.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. She like flips out here in a little bit and goes outside. That's like the stupidest thing they do in the movie that she does is like freaking out. And she's like, "Who made you?" And she, not, yeah. I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Who made you?
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the background here that I'm noticing that are like character actors that I forgot about were in this. Like the guy. There was I'm saying like 2 or 3 of them actually.
We made.
In a little while, I love it when like the trucks really go haywire, and that one guy comes busting out there. He said, "I hate these fucking trucks," and he's drunk all the time. I guess during this movie, or the character is drunk all the time.
That's funny.
Well, you shouldn't have tried to steal things.
I always heard that he was like coked out of his mind during this movie, Stephen King.
Yeah, I've heard that too. And like, there was a period of time where Stephen King admits that he was doing so much coke, he doesn't even remember writing Cujo. And I'm like, that's a great book. I hate that he doesn't even remember writing the thing. But he said that he was doing so much cocaine around that time period, and I guess during this time period too. And he said just one day he was sitting in his little home office and he looked down in his trash can and he said there were all these bloody tissues in there because he had messed up his nose because he was doing so much coke. And he said at that point he decided that he was going to have to do something. He was going to have to get clean or he was going to end up dead.
Wow. This is a crazy one. This Coke machine thing.
Oh, yeah. That would hurt for real if that happened. Can you imagine them coming out at that speed and hit you in the head and stuff?
Yeah, the trailer for this is creepy too. With if y'all have seen that,
gosh, yeah.
where he's like introducing the movie. I saw that like a few years back, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, who thought that was like it's like Stephen King's creepier than the damn movie with his like unibrow and cross eyes.
And he points at the screen and he says, I'm gonna scare the hell out of you. And
it's like you already are, buddy.
Just looking at us.
He's, God bless him, he is an odd looking dude. He is Stephen King. He always has been.
Sure.
His son looks just like him too.
He's gonna get rode over here.
Oh yeah.
I definitely want to get a poster of Stephen King, like when he's introducing Maximum Overdrive. That just him in that creepy, like that'd be a cool fucking poster.
I should see if I can make a T-shirt like that with him from the trailer for the movie. Oh God, here's the sleazy Bible salesman.
Yeah. Is this uploaded on Steve's archive or is this somewhere else you found it?
This is just called something, the Internet Archive.
Yeah, I have Steve's bookmarked on here somewhere.
Do you?
Because he had posted it somewhere, and because he had a lot of stuff on there, and I saved it.
I don't think he actually put this on there though. Somebody else must have put this one on here, I'm thinking.
Yeah, he had some like crazy like USA stuff and a lot of stuff on his. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, this is where I was actually able to find like traces of death back when I did that Faces of Death and Traces of Death thing. But I will not. I'm never gonna watch Traces of Death ever again. I only watched it again to do that stream. I just can't. I can't watch it.
I've only seen Faces of Death. What's Traces of Death?
Well, trust me, old curly jaws. I don't think you want to see it, but I'll tell you it. Whereas Faces of Death, a lot of that stuff was either reenacted or it was staged and stuff like that. Traces of Death, the stuff it shows, the majority of it, I'd say about 95% of it is real stuff. And the thing that got me, and I talked about this during the stream I did, was I don't know if you know who Bud Dwyer is, but he was a politician back many moons ago, and somebody tried to say that he was taking money under the table. He was taking bribes, and he wasn't. They were trying to cover their own ass and blame it on him. Well, he thought he was going to end up going to prison and his family was going to be shamed by it. So he held this big press conference and the news people were there because they thought he was going to step down from whatever he was. He was some kind of he was a politician, but I don't remember exactly what he was, if he was a councilman or what he was. But they thought he was going to step down from that during the press conference. And instead, he blows his head off in front of everybody. And I don't know about anybody else, but I don't want to ever see a real suicide again.
You don't want to see it, Curly. I promise you don't want to watch. It's not if you've ever heard of like those cartel videos and shit that get released, it's just like you might be curious, but right after you watch it, you're just gonna be like, I do not want to see that again.
No.
It's bad.
Yeah.
I saw it once. I was like, no.
I forced myself to watch the rest of it, and I got it this time because the original time I watched it, I rented it thinking it was going to be like Faces of Death, and at that time I had heard that Faces of Death was a lot of it was faked and staged type of stuff. So I thought, hey, this is going to be more of the same. So I put it in, start watching it, and then it gets to the Bud Dwyer thing, and I'm like, holy shit. And I just sat there for a few seconds more with my mouth open. And I said, I'm taking this shit out. I turned the tape off. I took it out. I've never done this before with anything else.
I'm surprised that's even I'm not surprised the movie's not banned, honestly.
Well, it probably couldn't get banned based on the Bud Dwyer thing, because here's the thing about Bud Dwyer's suicide. It's all over. You can find that on YouTube. All you got to do is punch in Bud Dwyer suicide. It'll come up. But here's what they did that really made me mad about that, old Curly Jaws, is not only did they show it complete, the guy having blood running out of his mouth and everything else, they showed it repeatedly, him putting the gun in his mouth and pop. And they did that like 3 to 5 times in a row. Then they showed it in slow motion. And that was the filmmakers for Traces of Death that did that. I'm like, you guys are very insensitive. You're assholes for doing that, because it's bad enough that footage is floating out there anyway. But to do that to sell a damn tape, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's pretty sleazy.
It's wrong. So yeah, you definitely don't want to watch that.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like my cup of tea.
It's just like crossing a line.
Yeah.
It's just that whole fucking with the audience thing. I don't like that. Same thing with Campbell Holocaust. It's that whole you're telling people they're watching a movie, but they're not watching a movie. You know?
Yeah, those movies are up there with the Munsters.
Darren is in here. He says, "Hey guys, hey Darren."
I honestly, it's funny. I didn't hate the Munsters. I watched it. It's kind of like a train wreck. I mean, it had problems, but like I watched it twice because I watched it with my wife Becca, and it's just kind of silly. It's like the show is silly. It's not a good movie, I don't think at all. But it's like, for what it is, I would watch it again. It's funny. I mean, it's fun. It's just something about it is fun. I mean, I can definitely understand why CK and them didn't like it, but I don't know.
I didn't like it because Universal pissed me off. So there's reasons why I don't like the movie now. But it's a piece of shit. Like, I'm surprised. Like, they shelved, like, HBO shelved Batgirl and other shit. This movie should have been shelved.
Let's see. Let me tell Dirk. We're about 22 minutes and probably about 25 or 30 seconds. Dirk. He says, sorry I was out of the room. Where y'all at with the movie? John, would you say that's about where you're at, like 22:49 or 22:50?
Yeah, I'm about 10 seconds behind you.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Monsters was just awkward. There's a lot of awkward acting.
I
It
thought
was-
it seemed kind of stiff a little bit. The parts that I saw, I didn't watch the whole thing.
I
but
did
saw
laugh that
parts
they
of
swapped his brain with like a comedian. I thought that was kind of
it.
funny. And like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know how to describe watching that movie, what it's like. It's just something about it is, it's like you're watching a pleasant train wreck. I don't know. It's just something about it. I just,
like, it's just fucking. I can't defend that movie now. I can't.
they definitely want to make a show or something because they end right on the intro. So you think, oh, they're going to try to do something with it. Look, I commend Rob Zombie for not saying the F word in a movie.
I did too, John.
That was the most
That's
impressive
exactly
thing to
what
me.
I said.
I was
That's
like,
what
wow,
this.
he actually made a PG movie. Like, that's
In my
impressive.
in my opinion, it needed it. It really needed it. If you should have and I would have fucking like the whole cast was kind of not right. Like I would have got obviously Sid Haig passed away, but I would have got Sid Haig as Grandpa Munster. Like there's and it would have been like dark comedy. It would have been fucking hard R.
Yeah, he might have wanted to do something like that. I still think he missed an opportunity not making it all black and white, but I don't know if that was just like they made him do
No,
it that way.
that was the fucking studio. That was Universal. They said no, you're not gonna make it black and white. And I'm like, that's when I would have been like, well, fuck you. I'm doing my own thing then.
Yeah, I feel, and that makes sense because, like, I imagine they probably were afraid, which is so weird because all you got to do with that is like you make the movie, you put it out on Netflix or Peacock, and you basically just give an option. You just say, click here for black and white, click here for color. It's not a big deal. Like, I don't know why they didn't just do it that way. You know, it was like they're afraid it's going to lose money. It's like, I don't think it would. I think it would have been fine if they would have given the option, but studios are weird with shit. They always have been.
Yeah, these studios, I don't know.
Ain't there like certain DVDs from movies that did that? Like a black and white version and a regular version?
Yeah, they do. They've done it all the time. They did what's that movie? They did that Fincher movie, black and white. The one on Netflix where he was, I don't remember the name of it, where he was doing the documentary on like the Orson Welles movie. It was on Citizen Kane. I forget the name of it. It was just like a couple of years ago, but it was all black and white. Schindler's List was black and white. I mean, that was back in the day, but it was all black and white. Hell, that Marvel movie, that new Marvel movie they're coming out with, that Werewolf at Night. Have y'all heard of that? That's black and white.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's a it's a Marvel movie that's a horror movie. And it's on Disney Plus, but it's like a horror movie and it's black and white, the whole thing. Yeah. It's weird. I don't know.
Dirk says, I'm going to watch the Munsters eventually and I'll adjust my TV color to black and white. There you go, Dirk.
Might as well. Huh?
And Ratkins is in here.
What's up? It's Ryan.
Yep. He's changed his name to Radkins since he was on there with Uncle Rad.
Uncle Rad, that's funny. Oh, man. That's funny. I like that show that Uncle Bill and Garrett are doing about the Shutter because I don't have to buy Shutter. Helps me out. I don't have to freaking pay Shutter. I get so sick of Shutter sometimes because they got good stuff, but then they put crappy stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's not worth keeping all year, you know?
My dog's barking like crazy in the background. Oh. I've got the gate shut where Brandon can't get from the living room into the kitchen and come back here. Mm-hmm. And he's upset with me. But I see John's dog's in there.
Yeah, he's just hanging out. Not hyper. Oh, man.
Oh, let's see.
Yeah, I'm not in my other chair. My other chair is too squeaky, so you don't see as much if I'm in this chair.
I've got my. Steve still thinks I'm crazy because I got this. They call them gaming chairs or racing chairs, but I just think it's comfortable. I needed a new chair anyway.
This is a creepy scene. Him driving by, seeing all those people
Oh
dead. That's
yeah,
crazy.
and that poor
Man.
dog. I hate seeing the dog worse than I do all these people.
I know, right?
I always say you can kill as many people as you want to in a movie, but leave the animals alone.
Yeah, I know. It's always the hardest thing to see.
Well, kids and animals, because they're so innocent compared with the adults usually.
Yeah, I was watching Halloween the other day. I'm doing like a little. I'm sure. Well, some friends of mine local. We're trying to do a podcast, like a thing, and we just recorded an episode and we watched Halloween just to start it. And we were talking about it, and they were talking about how Michael kills like the two dogs in the first movie.
Oh yeah.
And he like gets and we were talking about like him eating the dog, and one of the guys, he was like, yeah, I almost gave it a -1 star because they killed the dog. But
Exactly.
I'll tell you something about that movie I noticed is like Halloween, the original. Don't ever shut a door in that movie.
Oh no. Yeah.
Every door that gets shut in that movie does not open back up unless it's a car door. I noticed that. I'm like, damn, every closet, every front door. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Ryan's wanting to know, so since we are near the end of the year, what has been your favorite release of the year or company overall? Now, Ryan, do you mean like theatrically versus, just releases like Vinegar Syndrome puts out, or do you just mean just overall anything? Because I don't know. I'd almost have to say if it's been like, if it was releases to the theater, I might have to say Pearl on that just because I like Pearl so much.
I would say probably X.
I don't know. In the movies, probably Pearl or Barbarian. I mean, if we're talking about physical media, probably.
Yeah, Ryan says physical releases like Vinegar Syndrome.
To be honest, I mean, there's been so many, but that Angel Heart release from Lionsgate, that 4K, that's like the best 4K I've ever seen. That still is unbelievable. That came out back in June or May. It's awesome. But I don't know. I mean, other than that, I mean, there's been so many. I can't even keep track of them.
I don't know if I can say a favorite because there've been a few that I've really liked and thought that, especially with these 4K releases, I know a lot of people have said, this one doesn't look good, that one doesn't look good, and I'm like, what version did you guys watch? Because I just don't get how they're saying some of these are bad looking transfers.
Yeah, I mean, some are not as like the Funhouse wasn't as impressive as like others. It was okay. I mean, I haven't seen any that were bad. I've just seen a few where you don't notice as much difference as you'd hope. Right.
Now, I was I don't know if old Curly Jaws is frozen for good now or what.
No, I'm still here.
Okay. I was gonna say like Fatal Attraction, even though that's not really a horror movie, I was a little disappointed with that one. Out of all the 4Ks that I've gotten here recently, that was, in my opinion, the weakest one.
I watched it on HBO Max last month. I haven't seen the 4K yet, though.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably. I mean, don't just go by me. Of course, I say that. But if it was me and I hadn't already bought it, I would maybe consider waiting a little bit. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
that expensive. It wasn't like you were paying $50 for it or something like that, or even 30. But I just felt like it could have been sharper.
Yeah.
It just seemed a little soft, and they were touting it. They were really talking it up for the first time ever on 4K Fatal Attraction. I was like, "Ooh, this is gonna be good," And then the movie's still great. I love the movie, but I was just a little disappointed in the transfer. But
Yes.
but people have said that I know Garrett didn't. He was disappointed with the Lost Boys 4K, and I thought it looked fine. Uh, Wes said that it was inferior to the Blu-ray,
Oh no.
and I'm
No,
like,
I think what's
okay.
happening there is they're doing so. I messaged Garrett about that because I saw him post that picture with the blue looking tint on his 4K. I think what's happening is I think everybody's got different TVs and everybody's got different
Right.
like settings. So like my Lost Boys, it just looked like an upscale. It looked better than the Blu-ray. It looked
I
like
thought so too.
it
Yeah.
didn't look the best 4K, but it looked like a 4K.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't have I have a Samsung and I don't have any certain tints on it. I have all that tint shit turned off. I have that smooth motion thing turned off. You know how it makes some movies look like you're watching live plays? I have that turned off.
Yeah.
So mine, you don't get any of that. So I guess it depends because I think Garrett said he's got like an LG TV. So I don't know if maybe it's like a settings thing because you're dealing with a lot of different settings with these things. So I don't think it's like worse than the Blu-ray, but
I'm not saying that Wes was saying it for this reason, but I think sometimes people try to justify maybe to everybody else why they're not going to buy this 4K or that 4K.
He could have just been messing around too. I mean,
and I hope he didn't think I hope he didn't think I was being argumentative. I was like, I don't know. I think it looks pretty good. And he kept saying, you don't have to buy everything on 4K. Blu-ray's fine for some movies. He probably was just yanking my chain a little.
That's like his Child's Play disc he made with the wax and shit on it, where he was like, I got the grease. That's hilarious. That's awesome. No, I think he's just probably messing around. It is hard though, because these TVs are so different. It's hard to know because I know Christian Hannah Horror. I watch some of his stuff when I can, and I know he had a whole video about like setting TV settings and stuff for this. And we all have different stuff, so sometimes it's hard to know, but
I tell Steve to not mess with our settings too much. I mean, some of the settings were fine that he changed, but I said, I like it now, Steve. Don't touch anything else with it. And then he'll turn right around and he'll do something. Oh, I'll say, what is wrong with this? And he'll say, oh, I did something. I said, leave it alone.
Do you have a Samsung?
Yeah, that's
I took like the dynamic mode and I just started messing with it a bit and playing with stuff. The only thing with mine is like a lot of times with the movies, sometimes the 4Ks are super saturated. So you can see so many things on the screen. It's very oversaturated. Like I was watching Madman from Vinegar Syndrome the other day, and it's like that. It's real saturated looking.
Right. Yeah, I agree with the settings. Like Steve used to get so aggravated. He would warn me about like we'd go into Best Buy and this is before I got a 4K TV. We would just, kind of want to browse around and look at the TVs. And Steve said, just be real careful, Dana, if you do end up buying a TV from them. Of course, when I did buy a TV, I didn't go in the store and buy it. I bought it online and they delivered it to the house. So Steve said, yeah, they'll want to calibrate the daggone TV before you take it home. And they want to, charge you extra for calibrating it. He says, don't let them do that. That's when he thought I was just going to go in there and buy one.
Yeah. Yeah, the biggest problem with new TVs is that motion, whatever that motion setting. I forget. I always forget the name, but it's
but I know what you're talking about.
It's really good for video games and like some things like sports.
Yeah,
but it's horrible for movies because like I'll go to Becca's grandparents' house and they'll be watching shit and I want to turn it off and they're like, "Don't touch the settings," and I'm like, "It's horrible. Turn this off." Like he'll be watching westerns and it's like going like too quickly.
Right.
I don't know. That's the worst part of those new TVs is they put that on there by default.
Well, I think Steve, I think that's probably why he was so hesitant about getting a 4K TV at one time, because we would go over to like his sister's house and they had that motion stuff set up. And he's like, this stuff looks like shit. And, that just kind of turned him off. But that was before he knew there were all these little settings that you could tweak on it.
Yeah, it looks weird. It first time I ever saw that, my friend had Back to the Future. This was years ago. He had a Blu-ray on and he was watching it. And I was just like, we were watching it and I was like, why does this look like we're looking out the window and watching people? Like, it doesn't look like a movie.
It looks like it's the soap opera effect is what it is. It looks like you're watching a soap opera.
I think that's actually one of the technical terms for it is the soap opera. They use that. See, I forget these terms, but they're online. These like tech sites, they talk about it a lot. But
right,
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I just think with the 4Ks and shit, it's hard. It's hard to compare, because everybody's doing different things. So, but some of them definitely, I do think there's something to the idea that Scream Factory may not be doing much with theirs.
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes wonder that, like if they're just maybe just upscaling what they had,
It's possible because a lot of people say some of the Scream Factory 4Ks that have came out recently, like Wes was saying, the Child's Play 2 when he said it didn't look good at all, and he said he was going to send that one back. He didn't even want to keep it.
Yeah, Child's Play 1, it looked okay. It was just
I thought it looked okay.
Whatever. Like Army of Darkness, I watched that the other day, the international cut, and it supposedly got it's like a 2K or a 4K transfer on the Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
It looks good, and I was kind of like sitting there, and I was like, I don't know if the 4K is gonna. So I'm just gonna wait and see. Like, I'm just gonna kind of get the consensus, and if it looks good, I'll buy it. But
I saw your message you left for me the other night.
If you think it's good, if I see things that say it's fine, I'll try it. But I just don't want to. It's getting to where I just can't keep buying all this shit, rebuying it,
No, and I understand everybody trying to get discriminate about what they buy, what they don't buy.
Yeah.
And I won't buy everything anymore. And Steve would probably be laughing his head off if he heard me say this, because he'd say, "You buy everything." No, I really don't. I get a lot of stuff, but I don't buy every single thing.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with all of it. And I was gonna get that Halloween set, and then the Walmart thing got canceled. Now I'm just kind of like, I'm probably just gonna stay with what I have, that little triple pack Blu-ray thing. I'm probably just gonna stick with that for a while. Just wait.
John, I wish there was some kind of legal thing, because this has happened too many times with the wrong price getting put up there for different sets.
For Scream Factory?
For Scream Factory and maybe one or two other companies too. And then they turn around, they cancel. I wish there was something legally where they had to make good on that.
Yeah, so Scream Factory did a live, I don't know if you saw this, but on Instagram, they did a live 1 hour Q&A on yesterday
Holy cow.
with the two guys. It was Jeff and someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I got on there and I tried to ask questions, and I was like, I wasn't being a troll. I was like asking, I was trying to be cool about it. They just didn't. All they did was they were just like, yeah, we've been doing this 10 years and these are our favorite releases. And then at the very end of it, they were like, yeah, some things just haven't always gone the way we wanted them to. And, COVID happened and some things just don't always work out. And they kind of like hinted that they were like on to the idea that people are calling their bullshit now.
Yeah.
But they didn't really mention it. And I was just like,
that's not really a
come on,
Q&A
man.
though. A Q&A is where you guys get to ask things and then they answer them the best way that they can.
I literally put in one of my questions, I put, explain off-gassing to me. And someone below said, thank you for asking. And then another person put, what are you talking about? And I'm like, come on, buddy. You're watching this. You know exactly what the hell this is. We all know what this is if we're watching this stream, But it's just like, you don't they don't want to actually answer questions. They just want to fluff themselves, And
I don't know why some people think they have to kiss somebody's ass. That's what I like about Dead Pit. That's what I like about Wes and Aaron. They still get stuff to review and things like that, but they refuse to kiss everybody's ass. And I wish other people would have the balls to do that too.
I'm laughing at Dirk and Ryan's comments. I probably will buy it, Dirk.
They're
and Ryan, that's funny. Bunch of pussies. Yeah. Well, it's like I don't hate Scream Factory. I mean, obviously, I have a lot of their stuff. I'm gonna buy their stuff. I just hate that. Like, it's crazy to me that a company that big does stuff this stupid, but doesn't want to acknowledge it. Like, something has to be going on. Yeah. I mean, you don't. That's just weird to me. It's weird to me that a company that big does that, but then a company so small, like Vinegar Syndrome, totally opposite. They mess up, they just send you stuff. They don't even complain.
Yeah. The only beef I have with Vinegar Syndrome is they're too damn slow about getting stuff to me. That's the only beef I have with them. It's not the quality of their stuff or their selling practices or anything like that.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Something's definitely. It wouldn't surprise me if Shout Factory wasn't about to get sold or something. The way they're acting, because they're just doing so many things that are dumb now, and that usually is what happens when a company that big gets sold. It's some shit's going down, and usually it's like a precursor. Because like Mondo got sold to Funko, and I don't know if you noticed, but Mondo wasn't putting out any records for a while.
Right. Yeah.
And then they got sold, and it was just like, I don't know.
Well, and the thing is, I mean, and I think other people would agree with me, when Shout Factory first started putting stuff out, and then when they got their Scream Factory label and they started putting stuff out, they wasn't doing this shit. I don't remember that many problems.
No.
It's only been in the last few years, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know, like, I know Uncle Bill and Wes. I know the whole shit in the box thing was like the tipping point for them because, I mean, it's funny just because, like, they were joking. Like, obviously, they were not going to mail a turd to Shout Factory.
Right.
But those people at Shout Factory are so fucking stuck up that they really thought that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Because Felcher said that. Felcher was like, oh, are they really going to do this? It's like, no, you idiots. They're messing with you. Like, just gullible, you know? Like, I can't believe a company would be that dumb to think that, you know?
You know,
I mean, I don't know. I don't think Wes was going to do that. But.
I don't. Nah, I've known Wes for several years now. I don't think he would do that.
No.
You know, though, if you really did want to send, not human shit, but if you wanted to send shit to somebody, there's a company that does that. Because I used to work with a guy at the library when I was working in IT. And he had a way of like really ruffling people's feathers, and he liked doing that. He would antagonize people and make them pissed off. So there was this chick that used to work for the library, and she was obsessed with this guy. He didn't want anything to do with her. So even after she left the library, she would call the IT department. And the other guys told me about this. They said, Evan doesn't want to talk to this chick. So if she calls, and they gave me her name, don't let her be able to talk to him.
Yeah.
So we would all kind of divert the call. We would say, well, he's not here right now or whatever. And he'd be over at his desk laughing his ass off because we were covering for him and he didn't have to talk to her.
Yeah.
Well, she called one day and our supervisor at the time picked up and said, Louisville Animal Control, can I help you? And she knew that he was lying and she got super pissed off. So she went to this company and had some animal shit delivered to Evan at the library, and he would keep it in the container it was in. He was like, yeah, you want to see my shit over here?
Wow.
So it's possible to ship somebody some animal shit.
Is Curly still here?
I don't know.
He
Oh,
screamed.
Curly Josh, you still there? I hope he didn't get pissed off or something.
He may be on mute or. Yeah, like I remember when that whole Nightbreed thing, like I was kind of just starting to listen to them. So I remember it happening, but I didn't really know enough about it to know what all happened. But I do remember them doing the whole poop thing, talking about it.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, but you know, Wes is always kidding like that. He tells Steve a whole bunch, or he has in the past told him, I'm going to shit on your porch, buddy. You know, that's just the thing he does.
That's awesome. Oh man. Ron, that's funny. He said, just send them a bag of dicks. There's a bag of gummies shaped like dicks you can send.
Yeah, I think I'm going to put that up there because that's funny. There's a lot of things that you can get that are shaped like dicks. I know I had a, oh gosh, one of these, I guess the best way to call them would be a sex toy party. For women only, of course. And so I decided I was going to make some cupcakes and get the fondant stuff. And I was able to get penis trays to put this fondant in, and you could put little penises on top of the cupcake. The girls loved it. Of course, they came to
what did I come back to?
Sorry about that, old girly Joseph.
Like I'm gone. I'm making dinner for my grandma, and I come back to paint little penises.
You know, they also have pasta that's shaped like dicks too. It's just like macaroni and cheese, but
yeah,
it's
Spencer's.
Well, actually, I ordered this from Amazon, believe it or not. But you can do that for bachelorette parties and all kinds of things too. So.
Sorry, my dog is like scratching and licking. It's being annoying.
Nah, that's okay. Yeah, 71 mac and cheese dicks. Only I didn't make mac and cheese out of it. I made a pasta salad and it had these little pasta dicks.
But yeah, everybody has that generation of like company. Like in the 90s and early 2000s, it was Anchor Bay. Mm-hmm. In the 2010s, it was Scream Factory. Yeah. Now it's kind of like Vinegar Syndrome, Arrow. It's kind of like everybody's fighting for it a little bit. There's a lot of companies just fighting to get that top spot.
I will say, though, that I think, now watch, I'll say this and then I'll have a problem with them. But probably the one and only company that I've never had a problem with has been Arrow. you
Yeah,
know.
they're solid. I really like Arrow. Yeah, they're good stuff. They don't ever mess up anything that I know of, at least.
They haven't for me.
I love Kino, but I just like Kino because you get so much for the money.
I like
You know.
Kino as well. The only problem I have with Kino is, and maybe somebody can explain this to me. Maybe perhaps it's a money thing or something. But I noticed that even if there are extras and stuff on some of these 4Ks that Kino is putting out, have you ever noticed the menus are like not that I'm saying that you have to have menus with music or sound
Bare
and
bones.
motion, but they're just like a still picture or something
Yeah.
up there. And it just seems like they're, even if the movie quality is awesome, it just seems like they're a little bit cheaply made overall.
Hmm. Yeah, they don't do much. It's really just the movie. That's Kino's kind of
Right.
thing. Is it's just like you're getting a good quality movie, but you're not really getting special features much, if any.
Hmm.
Some of theirs even, I think some of their movies are like, if you've ever noticed those Mill Creek releases,
Yeah.
those things just autoplay. They don't even have a menu. They just play
Exactly.
into the movie. So I mean, I don't mind it for the price because mostly I'm gonna watch the movie. But I agree,
Right.
they're definitely not doing much of special features sometimes. So
So Ryan says, I've never had any issues with Synapse. I like Arrow too, but there have been recalls, but honestly, it happens to the best. Yeah, I'm not going to say there haven't been recalls where there have been little errors here and there, but they always make good on it, if there is a problem. They don't try to pull the Screen Factory
yeah,
type of
Synapse is
stuff.
pretty awesome. I can't. They're pretty good for sure. Severin, I mean, I don't have a lot of Severin, but they're okay from what I've seen. I mean, I just don't like their movie selections usually, but as far as their quality, it seems like it's pretty good mostly.
Yeah. Dirk makes a good point. He says that's why Kino has those prices. It's about the film. And I totally get that. I'm not saying that I have to have that with every release. It just seems slightly disappointing, not enough to make me not buy from them,
Yeah.
but just a little bit disappointing. But I get
Whoever whoever wants to be the top company, they need to get this on their release schedule.
that. Like Devil Doll.
Yeah.
Man, I've never seen that. I've heard about it.
Oh, buddy, you got to check it out. It's a classic.
Yeah, Kino is not really a boutique per se because
No.
they're pretty big. They've been around for a long time. They really just kind of release like cult movies and stuff.
Yeah.
They just get lumped in because they they compete in a way with those boutique labels. But I think it's more so that they're one of the last bigger companies putting out movies like that because there's not gonna be. Disney's not really doing anything. Warner Brothers is going to
Right.
stop eventually. Sony. It's going to get to a point where, like Bill Lustig said in that interview, people were talking about, it's going to be just a few companies doing this, and everybody else is just going to go away.
Yeah. Because I guess they're gonna go the streaming route or whatever, and just we're not gonna do physical media anymore.
Yeah.
It's probably, unless you are one of these big companies that's your bread and butter, is to put out these elaborate releases and stuff.
Hmm.
um they probably are losing money. Some of the regular companies, that were around before these boutique labels started really getting big.
Hmm.
So I can understand why they would do that.
Yeah, and Scream Factory. The other thing about Scream Factory I don't like is their base pricing is just too high.
Hmm.
Always, it's like their site. If you go to their site, it's like $36 for a movie,
Yeah.
and then if you wait and you go to Amazon or something, it's 29.
Yeah.
And they just should not be that freaking high. Like,
Mm.
as long as they've been doing this, they should have figured out a way to level that down some. But I
I'm
don't know.
eagerly awaiting somebody to put The Exorcist out on 4K with Dolby Atmos sound. I said that over and over again. Come on, somebody's got to put that movie out.
Yeah.
And then they come out like, okay, we got you, but it's The Exorcist 2.
Oh God. Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. You talk about being disappointed. I may have told this story before, and hopefully I'm not boring anybody with telling this again. But when first time I ever saw The Exorcist, I was kind of blown away by it. Overall, not just the special effects, not just the acting, the whole package blew me away with that movie. And then I didn't know anything about The Exorcist 2 at that time, just that it was a sequel to The Exorcist. So I went and rented it, of course. Oh my God. I was like, what in the heck did they do to this movie? I mean, it was overly long. It was boring as hell.
Mhm.
And what in the world was Linda Blair even doing in this? It was like she didn't have anything to do in this movie. But Steve says he loves it because it's Pazuzu's Reagan. That's what he says all the time.
Disco Reagan.
Yeah, Disco.
Yeah, I got The Exorcist 3 and Amityville Horror today on Blu-ray. I got them at McKay's for
Oh,
like.
did you?
Yeah, I just got the because I'm not getting that 4K. I just can't spend any more money on that. But yeah, Exorcist. If Warner Brothers wants to do it, they'll do a pretty good job because like
Yeah.
Warner and Universal, when they want to put out a 4K, usually it's gonna look good typically because they don't fuck around with that. But I don't know why they haven't done it by now. You would have thought that would have been something they
I
did. They would
mean,
have
how
done years
many
ago.
releases of The Exorcist have they put out over the years?
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know.
I keep saying I'm waiting for it. Steve says, "Oh, it'll come out. It'll come out," and I'm like, "When though? Why is I'm waiting for
Well,
this?"
they might do it. Hey, they might do it when the Exorcist remake comes out. They might do it.
Maybe that's what they're waiting
Yeah,
for.
a lot of times that's what happens. They wait for those anniversaries. I'm telling you, Nightmare on Elm Street. That's what's going to happen. 2024, that 40th anniversary, something's going to happen. Either a movie deal or the 4Ks or something. That's when it's happening. Because I just have a feeling Wes Craven's family, because they own it now, don't they? The Craven estate.
I think so. Yeah.
They're going to wait for that and probably do something then. But who knows?
If I'm surprised, you know who the fuck the guys behind the Halloween, the newest ones, who are they? I forgot the guy who's doing it.
Jason Blum and them, David
Yeah,
Corey. Yeah.
Blumhouse.
Yeah, they're chomping up the bits to get a hold of that Elm Street series.
Oh yeah, they definitely want it.
We're gonna do a direct sequel to the first one. Freddy's gonna be a little bit old.
It's true.
He's gonna have a hunchback and all this. He's gonna be old Freddy.
Dirk's over here singing some AC/DC.
Yeah. Well, they definitely want Friday the 13th. I know that they've talked about that for a while.
Oh yeah, which I kind of wish they just do a sequel to the remake, but it's been too long. They won't do it.
Yeah, that's one of those things. It's been in such legal limbo. I'm not going to believe shit till I see a trailer for that. They're gonna have to show me some footage first.
You talking about somebody? You talking about somebody that's been screwed like 30 times, like more than anybody when it comes to films. Derek Mears.
Yeah,
that poor son of a bitch.
He was pretty good. I honestly liked him as Jason. I thought he was good.
He was the best Jason.
The second time I watched the Friday the 13th remake, I thought it was decent. Steve got me to watch it again. And at first I was like, no, I don't want to watch it. And then I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And I actually enjoyed it that time.
That's probably the second best Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah. The scariest part is the beginning. The beginning is pretty. I think that first 5 to 10 minute segment when he's in the potato sack and he's like coming down with the machete. That's like, that's all great. And then after that, I mean, it's kind of, you know.
So do you wish the movie would have just been potato sack Jason through the whole movie?
I mean, I don't know. I just think that like some of the characters, they were trying so hard to make those characters like the 80s characters where you had the jock and the nerd and I don't know. I mean, I like it. I just think I probably agree. Like the first part of it probably would have made a better movie, just extended that out.
Dirk says he hopes I'm ready for Titan. That's what we're covering on Eurocult tomorrow. That was Dirk's pick. Have y'all seen Titan?
Hadn't seen it.
I think CK and Uncle Bill covered it in a Patreon stream, I think.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Is it that crazy French movie that?
Yeah.
I might have to check that movie out.
I was like, the first time I watched it, I was like, what in the hell is going on with this movie? And I think
do you think I would like it? Do you think I would dig it?
You might, old curly jaws. I'm not going to say you wouldn't.
I'll check it. Is it in French? Like, it's like no English. It's just French or whatever.
Oh, gosh, I'm trying to remember now.
Because
I was thinking we had to read subtitles, but maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, fail. It's just going to be like, I'm just going to pretend what the hell they're saying. Be like, yeah.
So Ryan says a flashback sequence in the next Friday the 13th would be cool, especially if it has something to do with Jason's father or something like the original ending of Part 6. That would be a cool idea. I would like to see them do that.
I would like for them to do like a direct sequel to Part 8.
To Part 8?
Yeah.
That would be interesting, but I don't know that they would ever do that, though.
Like, imagine if they would have the budget now, they could actually be in New York and do all the shit they wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
You could have like Jason fight like Conor McGregor at like New York Stadium or some shit like that, and like just be over the fucking top, and Jason just knocks his fucking block off, like just like like that'd be fucking awesome.
That'd be funny. A lot of those movies, it's like, it's so different now because, you know, in the slasher heyday, I mean, Paramount, it was different because when Sean Cunningham had that franchise and it was Paramount doing them, they had all that money and they were constantly like every year, like putting them out, and they were kind of in a good flow of like making money, but making something that was pretty entertaining. And I feel like once Paramount got out of it and then New Line got it, it's just different now. It would be so hard to make that movie in 2022 because you got the SJW crowd, you got the woke crowd, you have like all that stuff, and then you just have the way people make movies now. It's just like people don't make movies that way anymore. They don't do practical. They don't. It's all about cutting corners and maximizing profit. And I don't know. I'd like to see them do it, but it's almost like what we wish for is we want people to do something that the way they did it back in like 1985 or 84. But I just don't know if a studio would do that, you know.
Or a direct sequel to this. Jason.
Oh gosh. Like I hate saying it.
They could have done that if they had done Freddy versus Jason, right?
The only company that would at least have enough probably foresight to know it needs money would be Blumhouse. Blumhouse would at least know, like, hey, we're going to have to put money into this to make it okay. Now, it doesn't mean it would be a good movie, but like even with those new Halloween movies, they at least are shot well. You know, they look good. You can tell they didn't. Well, you know, they didn't spend $5 on them. You know,
I know a lot of people shit on those movies. I like those first two movies, especially the second one to the new trilogy. Mm-hmm. I know everybody shits on that movie, and I fucking loved it. I was laughing my ass off. Fucking, is he dead? Did she kill again? Like fucking amazing. Like just. Honestly, I wouldn't. I know it'd be kind of like disrespect to Doctor or the guy that played Dr. Loomis, but I would just regenerate and get a guy to redo a good voice of him. Like I would like that.
When you did that, I was just flashing back to like Dead Pit's streams when they would have that come up. When somebody would send a super chat or something or give them money and they had that.
Do we send a super chat again? Yeah.
Oh my!
I don't hate those movies. I mean, I like them for what they are. I think Halloween 2018 is actually not bad at all. I think Halloween Kills is kind of hokey, but I don't know. It's better than like I don't know. I think it's.
Did you all watch the new trailer for it?
Mm.
Yeah, I think I did. You know, I wanted to like the 2018 one. I really, really did. Me and Steve even went to the drive-in to see that.
You didn't like that one?
I wanted to, oh Curly Jaws, but as soon as Jamie Lee Curtis came on the screen, my first expression when I saw her, I was like, what in the hell have they done to Laurie Strode? I was like, what? This is not what Laurie Strode would have become. If you went, this is just my opinion, mind you, but if you go purely on the way Laurie Strode was presented in the original Halloween movie, she would not have become this weirdo, like
she kind of, you know,
crazy ass. I don't.
She reminds me of She kind of reminds me of Sarah Connor, like she's like, you know, that's kind of how I feel.
Mm-hmm. Which I could see that. I just was so disappointed as soon as she came on the screen, and I was like, "What have they done?"
I'll tell you what the new Halloween missed. If they would have put this in the movie. Like every 30 minutes, it would have been, I'm going to see if it'll play. That stinger.
Right.
That shit, that's like all. If they would have just put those like original tones and shit that Carpenter did in the movie, that would have just added even more to it. Because that's what made the original so damn scary is like when he grabs the kid and it like hits that music, you know?
You know, okay, okay. Remember, did y'all saw you saw the movie in the theater, the 2018 one you saw in the theater, right? Both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So remember the scene where Michael? Okay, we think Michael's dead, and this doctor, you think he's gonna take over as the killer for the rest of the fucking movie?
Mm-hmm.
You remember that's okay. I about walked out of the theater when I thought that was going to be the rest of the fun. I thought he was going to be the killer for the rest of the movie. I was about to, nope. I'm out. And like, no, Michael's like, no, motherfucker. Then just fucking kills him. I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah, that was quite the twist.
I did wonder what I was like. I looked at Steve when they were showing that whole scene where the mental patients were up on top of the roof and they had Michael Myers chained on the top of the roof. I looked at Steve. I said, what in the hell is this? What are they doing?
Yeah. And they made that seem like, you know, in the trailers, they did, those trailers were so convincing at first for that movie. When the way they shot it, it was like, I was all in at first because I was like, oh, fuck, they got it right, you know? But yeah, there were definitely, I mean, I like it. There's definitely parts of it that doesn't work though. I think that image, I will say that ending when he's burning in that basement and he's just kind of staring up. That's like one of
that's a really cool scene.
Man, that's like one of the best scenes I've ever seen in a Halloween movie. But yeah, I mean, it's not a perfect movie at all. It's got problems.
Okay, Dana, let me ask you this. Which would you prefer, the 2018 Halloween or Rob Zombie's Halloween?
Probably the 2018 one.
God damn.
I'm sorry.
What about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2?
I didn't even watch that one. I didn't even go there.
You haven't seen that movie?
You never seen Rob Zombie's? Okay, that's it.
Not Halloween. Not part 2. I saw the original.
It's worth watching for sure.
You never. Okay. some before October ends, we got to do a watch along for Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Yeah.
You are
That
gonna
has.
make me watch it, aren't you?
Oh yeah, that's a masterpiece. Now that's a great film.
Yeah, I think the first Rob Zombie movie, like if you took that movie and you did not call it Halloween and you just made that story a little bit different, I don't think anybody would have a problem with that movie.
Yeah, I've said that
because
about
it's really not like what he was trying to do was not a bad idea. It's just that it wasn't really Michael Myers.
it didn't work for Halloween.
Right, but it
probably
wasn't
would've
like
worked
yeah, it wouldn't. It maybe would have worked for another type of killer or maybe a
But
true
can
crime or
you
something.
can you at least admit the soundtrack was freaking awesome for Rob Zombie's Halloween?
No,
Well,
I liked it. Yeah.
I think the music is, but for me, that's beside the point. I could love the music in a film and still hate the film. So yeah, I could say the soundtracks.
Love hurts. Like that soundtrack is fucking. He can. I could. Rob Zombie could definitely have some good soundtracks for any of his movies, except the Monsters.
Devil's Rejects has like one of the best soundtracks ever. That whole
Oh
thing
yeah,
is, like,
I bought that
killer.
on vinyl. I bought that on vinyl.
I watched that in theater I actually watched that in this year at Full Moon. They had Bill, what was it? Ken Foree and Sheriff Waddell, I forget his name. He was there. It was a few of the actors were there, and that was the first thing I thought. Well, I hadn't seen it in years, and my friend and I was like, man, this soundtrack is fucking great. Like all the stuff they put in it.
I remember the first time I saw that movie it was a really shitty DVD. Like it was like a ripped off copy off like a computer or something. And my uncle was showing me The Devil's Rejects for the first time. I just remember the scene where that big motherfucker, what's his name?
Tiny. Yeah.
Tiny was carrying that bitch through the fucking woods naked. I'm just like, as a kid watching that, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But it's fucking great. I love that movie.
I remember my mom, the first time she noticed me watching House of a Thousand Corpses, she kind of walked through the living room or came into my bedroom or something. I was watching it, and she took one look at it. She said, "What on earth are you watching?" I said, "Oh, Mom, it's House of a Thousand Corpses." And I had her actually sit down and watch it later on. And she's like, "Dana, I don't like this movie."
I love that movie. That first one is
I
thought
those were fun. I think most of the time when Rob Zombie goes off on his own and does his own thing,
yeah,
instead of trying to make a remake or something, I think he does just fine, except Lords of Salem. And
Lords of Salem's a piece of fucking
31.
trash.
I didn't like 31 either. So
I loved 31. I loved 31.
I just couldn't. I could not get into that.
You didn't like the little Nazi midget?
Well, maybe I like that, but overall, the movie.
I saw it once. I mean, it was kind of just one of those things where I kind of watched it late night one time, and I was like, all right. But yeah, Lords of Salem, I liked half the movie, and then the other half, I just didn't like how they went off the deep end at the very end of it. I thought it was like a pretty good movie, and then like he just went crazy with like the demon thing and when it was like grabbing its tentacles, and I was like, what the hell is this?
It's funny. I've watched Lords of Salem twice. Both times I couldn't finish it.
Yeah.
Like I can't finish that fucking movie.
I don't know what he was trying to do with that movie.
Right,
I don't know. It was another one of those movies that I don't know who it was designed for exactly.
Well, it was like he was making two movies. It was like he was making a movie that was like trippy and sort of like satanic panic and like a little bit more like subtle, like more of like a 70s movie.
It had too much stuff in it.
And then the end of it, he went back to like wacky shit, and it was like he just kind of had two different ideas that he mixed, and I don't think that worked. at all. I think if he would have just stayed the way it was, where it was creepy, it would have been better. But I don't know. He's not a dumb guy, and it's funny, watching interviews with him. He's really smart. He knows a lot about movies. He just, I would love to see like what he's like on set, because I don't know what it is with sometimes when he makes these decisions, like if he's pressured into them.
And it might be a little bit of pressure, from the money people, I would imagine.
Because like Devil's Rejects was like the right amount, where it was like it was sleazy, it was kind of gross, but it was like it needed to be. It was like basically like, what if you had these serial killers who were, I mean, that's what it was, that movie. And then the sheriff is like so crazy that he gets worse, he becomes worse than them. And it's like, that's kind of the perfect, idea.
And he went in directions where, let's say, something like Texas Chainsaw Massacre never quite got to. Texas Chainsaw Massacre would stop just at the point where it would get really sleazy and crazy.
Right.
And Rob Zombie would go way over that line and then some.
Yeah, Toby was more theater of the mind.
Yeah.
He kind of wanted to just he definitely was that old school, what you don't see is scarier. Rob was more of like, he just thought if I show it, it's worse. I don't know if I agree with that, but I get what he's trying to do.
Yeah, there's two schools of thought on that. I think some movies that works better, and other movies it doesn't work better for them to do that. But evidently, Dirk loves Lords of Salem because he says Lords of Salem is the shit.
I don't hate it. I just think it's like, I don't know. It's just, I have it on Blu-ray. I just wish that he hadn't went off the deep end on it, but I don't know.
Yeah, it didn't seem, it was like you said, it almost seemed like he didn't know what kind of movie he wanted to make.
Yeah, no, I didn't see 3 from Hell. I didn't even.
I did watch that one with Steve, and I did not like it as well as like House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects. But Steve, I think he pretty much hated it. I didn't hate it. I just didn't like it as well as the other 2 movies.
I saw enough clips and I was like, okay, I know what he's doing here. It's like he's just going to parody what he'd done before to a higher. It's almost like the further along he gets in his career, he's kind of just like, oh, you don't like this? Well, I'm just going to make it worse. Exactly. I'm just going to do it more, like, you don't like the F word? Well, I'm going to put 40 more of them in here,
Well, I've said before that I'm not a prude, and, I've said my fair share of the F word and other words too, and I'm not proud of it, but I just don't think you can overuse any word.
Yeah.
And I feel like fuck is a word that he overuses in his films, except with the monsters, in which case he couldn't use it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like I said, I wonder sometimes what goes through his head with stuff. It's weird. Him and Eli Roth, they're both just like fascinating cases of filmmakers, the way they do stuff.
I like the way Eli Roth talks. When Eli Roth is talking like a regular interview, and he don't, and I hate to say this because I love Tarantino, but if he doesn't have Tarantino kind of by his side and they're being all cocky and playing off each other, he sounds like a normal person. He sounds very cultured. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about. Yeah. And he knows his horror movies, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. But I swear, I liked Cabin Fever, okay. But then when he started making Hostel in those movies, I was like, what in the hell? What is he doing here?
Hold on now. You talking about Hostel?
Sorry about that, old girly Josh. But I just, the whole... Again, I'm not a prude, and I don't mind a little sex and a little TNA being in a movie. But that was just a blatant overuse of, I guess, women's sexuality, I thought. And just like that whole thing where am I just imagining this, or was there a scene in either Hostel or Hostel 2 where a woman was being like, I'm guessing somebody was having sex with her from behind or something, and she was banging up against the glass? I mean, am I
I didn't see
imagining
Hostel
that?
2.
Or
I saw the first one.
okay. So I
I
don't
think
know.
the concept of Hostel's a pretty good idea. I just think he kind of he's one of those, like, like Rob Zombie has. I know. I mean, he may not say this, but I'm sure Rob Zombie has always wanted to make the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's like his, and particularly part 2. That's like what he's trying to do with all of his movies, right?
Yeah.
And Eli Roth has always wanted to make Cannibal Holocaust or something
Yep.
like that. Like he even made The Green Inferno, which was
Yep.
so I think he's kind of always dictated by that fanboy thing.
Yeah.
Because even when he made Hostel, he talked about in interviews how he would pray to Lucio Fulci. So that he's like watching, that he's sitting there like when he's making it, he's probably watching all these Fulci movies and shit. And he's like watching like New York Ripper, and he's like, oh, how can I do some crazy shit,
Yeah.
And that's probably part of it, is he's just thinking like, how can I offend the audience as much as possible?
He's probably like, how can I add some duck noises to this?
Right. I mean, yeah. So I think the fanboy thing is what gets Eli Roth. He's just too.
I agree, John. I think that, I've said this before. Normally, if you're looking at this from the outside, you would think that the fanboy thing would be a great thing.
Right.
That somebody would make the ultimate movie, but it always ends up screwing them up somewhere along the way.
Yeah. I think it's because usually people who are like that, who are filmmakers, they're more invested in the movie. They're more invested in the mechanics than the actual like story.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, that's kind of what happens. Versus like some of the best filmmakers who have made horror movies are not horror filmmakers. They're just people who just made a horror movie.
Right.
And it's just like this weird thing, It's like you get a guy who has an idea and he uses something and he's like, oh, I can do this and make this interesting, like Paul Verhoeven or like any of those type of guys. And then you get someone like Eli Roth, who probably spent his whole life renting horror movies and, reading Fangoria and all that shit, just like all those guys. And you give them a script and it's,
I don't know. I think the best horror filmmakers are, just like you said, people that never started out to be horror filmmakers. They just kind of fell into it. Kind of somebody said, hey, here's the easy way to get into the business, is to do a horror movie. And that's exactly how it was back, especially back in the 70s and 80s.
Stanley Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick, I guarantee when he started filmmaking, he probably didn't even care anything about horror movies. He probably was just like, because some of his early movies were just like Paths to Glory and stuff like that. And he just had a knack for it, with like Clockwork Orange and then Shining. And I mean, I'm not saying that's always the case. I just mean like there's definitely something to that with those people who have that artistic vision, I don't know. Maybe there is fanboy filmmakers who are like, Dirk saying Tarantino. He's good. I mean, he's a fanboy and he's got talent for sure. But
and I like I said before, I love Tarantino, and I don't want anybody to think I'm saying anything bad about him. But John, I'm sure you have seen Tarantino in interviews, especially those early interviews that he did.
He's an asshole for sure.
He comes off sounding like an asshole a lot of time, and a cocky asshole at that. But I still like him, and I still like what he puts out. So even if he is acting like a cocky asshole, I'll still.
He's quirky for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he sort of, how Jeff Goldblum always would sound really nervous, even when he wasn't on camera. That was just I guess part of how he was. Have you ever noticed how Tarantino just blah, 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 he just talks so fast and he's thinking he's going in this direction and that direction and everything. And I wonder if he's like that on a movie set. How in the hell does he direct anything?
I know. Yeah, another guy too, Cronenberg. I mean,
Yeah.
David Cronenberg is somebody who, to me, all of his movies are just, they're so interesting when you break them down, what they're trying to say. And like that guy is like, I mean, I'm sure in real life he's probably a little arrogant, but like that guy's brilliant. Like he is. I know y'all were talking one day about Carpenter versus Cronenberg, and like I love Carpenter. He's my favorite. But honestly, yeah, I would say Cronenberg's made better movies. I can't argue that, you know. He's pretty good.
I need to do a versus series of streams with Carpenter and Cronenberg movies.
Yeah.
I think that'll be really, really interesting.
Oh yeah.
I'd put Kevin Smith on that list of great directors.
Well, Kevin Smith has done some good stuff. Now, I will say I did not like that Tusk movie. I
need to watch that. I hadn't seen that
God.
No, Tusk is a classic.
Is it? I heard it. I mean, I actually heard it was like, I know people who like it, so I want to watch it.
It's probably the best horror movie in the last like 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to agree to disagree with you on that, old curly jaws, because
you didn't like.
I watched that with Steve, and I was like, "What in the hell did I just watch?" I don't even know what that was.
I liked Red State. I thought it was okay.
Red State was okay. I don't think Steve liked that one as well as I did.
Old school Kevin Smith is awesome. I love his 90s movies.
Exactly. That's when he was at his best, I think.
I mean, I loved Jay and Silent Bob reboot, and I love the new Clerks 3.
I need to see those.
I didn't see that one yet. I need to see it. Yeah.
And he's supposed to be doing Moose Jaws eventually.
Moose Jaws. I know what you're talking about too, because I haven't seen it. But
Dana, do you know anything about Moose Jaws?
No, not really. I guess I'm out of the loop on that one.
Oh, you need look up Moose Jaws on YouTube, and Kevin Smith talks in detail about it. Hopefully, in the next few years, he'll come out. Because I've been wanting this movie since he talked about it.
That's why I like Robert Eggers so much. Is he's got some great stuff too, like The Witch and all that.
Yeah, I love The Witch.
I mean, I know everybody loves Ari Aster. I don't like him as much, but he's good, like Hereditary and stuff. But
so. Fun story. I went to a Yoga Hosers premiere in Louisville at a convention, and Kevin Smith was there, and he was on. So was Jason. They were all there. His daughter was there too, promoting the movie. You know, we was all in the screening for the film, watching and all that. So I'm like, I say, hey, you know, he's like, Kevin Smith's like, hey, come on stage. So I come on, you know, because. He's like, so I heard you have a tattoo of a movie Tusk. And I'm like, yes, I do. And so I show everybody. He's like, and I tell him, hey, I want you to sign my leg. It's like, yo, man. So the end of the story, Kevin Smith ends up signing my leg, and I get it. Eventually I got it tattooed.
Wow.
I thought you had a Tusk tattoo. I thought you did. I couldn't.
There was, because I remember there was this the stream. There's a stream, I think. Steve was on CK, and CK's like, who the fuck's the guy that got the Tusk tattoo? And Steve's like, we know him.
Oh man.
Well, after we watched Tusk, Steve had that More Margarita song put on his phone, and so I have to hear that a lot now. When somebody calls, I hear that More Margaritas. I'm like, that reminds me of that stupid Tusk movie. I don't want to hear that anymore.
It's funny.
Oh yeah, I know Dirk loves Ari Aster. He's his favorite out of the new directors. He has that Kubrick eye, in my opinion. I
He's
don't know.
good. I mean,
I promised Dirk that I will eventually watch Hereditary, and I also promised everybody I'd pretty much watch all of Midsummer, but I haven't done either of those things, but I will.
Hereditary was good. It was shot. My wife and I watched it, and she don't really watch horror. And she kind of laughed. All I have to do is do that noise, and she's just like, "Oh God," she knows exactly what I'm talking about. And but yeah, Midsummer. I just didn't. It's like when I watched that movie, everybody was like, "It's like the fucking greatest movie ever."
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it, and I'm just like, it's just Wicker Man 2019 meets like. I mean, it's fine. I don't see the big deal. I just didn't get it. I didn't understand the hype, but I think I was just hyped up so much for it. I don't know.
I mean, I guess I must be missing something with Hereditary, because when I watched it, all I could think of was, this family is annoying the shit out of me. I hate these people. I wish somebody would kill them. I wish Jason or Freddie or somebody would come in here and just slice every one of their heads off, even that little girl, that weird looking little girl.
It is a creepy movie, though. I mean, there are parts in that are when that mother's like in that corner stuck. I will say that there are definitely parts in that movie that are pretty scary. But I mean, I don't love it, but I do like it. I think it was overall good.
Yeah, I mean, I will eventually rewatch it. I'm kind of working myself up to doing it again.
Yeah.
Dana, did you ever watch Yoga Hosers?
No.
You need to watch Yoga Hosers.
I need to watch that. Okay.
I hadn't seen that one either.
No, that's a great one. I love that's amazing.
Yeah, Dirk. He says that's the point, Dana. They're the most fucked up family ever. LOL. Yeah, that's why they annoyed me so much. They were so fucked up.
Yeah, the A24 stuff definitely gets pushed hard these days. I don't. I mean, I was looking at their filmography one day, and I was like, I actually do like a lot of their movies. I just don't like. I like a lot of their movies that are non-horror too, like the one about the room, The Disaster Artist. That's really funny.
Oh yeah.
And like the new one with Robert Eggers did. I forget the name of it, but it's a great one. They make some pretty solid movies. I think because what happens with that is like there were so many bad horror movies in the past 5 years. They came around and they made some good movies. So I think everybody brings them up because it's just slim pickings.
Right.
Nowadays you're getting more, but that 2017, 2016, 2018 period, this shit was rough. There was like nothing coming out.
Oh, I know. I remember that. It was pretty dry as far as genre films at that point in time. But speaking of the Disaster Artist, John, have you ever seen The Room with like an audience that would like throw the plastic spoons and stuff like that?
No, it was on at the Belcourt like 3 weeks ago. I didn't go. It was a midnight show, and I didn't go though, but I wanted to.
Steve and I went to the Baxter in Louisville, and we got to see it with everybody yelling at the screen, throwing those plastic spoons. I got plastic forks and stuff stuck in my hair and everything. But it was an experience, it was just so much fun. Steve introduced me to The Room. I had never heard of that movie until we started dating. And he showed me that movie, and I was like, holy cow.
Yeah, it's like the modern day Ed what's his name? Ed Wood.
Yeah.
Tommy Wiseau. It's pretty funny.
And it's like a Rocky Horror Picture Show type of thing that's got surrounding that movie too.
Oh yeah, I would definitely watch that Disaster Artist if you haven't seen it. It's pretty funny.
Yeah,
Like where they,
I think that me and Steve, did it come out at the theaters, John? Because I was thinking we went to the theater and saw it.
yeah, it only came out like a few years ago.
Yeah.
It's not too old. Yeah, it's funny. The only A24 movie that I walked out of was the one with Adam Sandler. What's that one he came out with? Oh God, I forget what it's called.
Can't remember.
I have to look it up. Uncut Gems.
Oh yeah.
Where he's
Steve
like
did
the
watch
diamond
that
salesman.
Mm-hmm.
God almighty. I saw that with Becca and her parents. And I like 20 minutes into that movie, I looked at her and I was like, fuck, this is brutal. It was just, and then her parent, we got up and left. I was just like, this is like, I just did not like it at all.
That movie just depressed me.
It was shot like, and I heard that it was shot to make you feel like you're having a nervous breakdown. Because that's the way I felt. The first 20 minutes, I was like, I cannot watch this anymore. I'm just getting nervous or something. You know?
I guess I didn't feel that bad, but it just like, it was one of those movies where just when you think it can't get any worse, it gets worse. And it's like, I don't think I can sit through this anymore. It wasn't really like a nervous effect for me. It was just like, I was so depressed and bummed out that I just didn't want to watch it anymore.
Yeah. Mainstream. I was reading Dirks.
Yeah. Dirt kills me. Well, he says Toni Collette's performance is amazing. Normally, I like Toni Collette. I love her in movies, but I just could not stand her in Hereditary.
Mm-hmm.
Dirk says, I don't discriminate mainstream, obscure. If it has a good story, good acting, good direction, hell yeah. Well, I agree with that. I don't just go with one particular type of movie. I know some people do, though.
Mm-hmm.
But that's usually, I hate to call them snobs, but it kind of is snobbish to say, oh, I only watch these types of movies, or I only watch the movies from this company or whatever. It's like, what are you talking about? Just watch them for a good movie. Don't just pick and choose.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We had I think I said this once, but I had a Facebook group I was in, and some girl posted, she was like, for my favorite movie, I'm picking Midsommar.
There it is.
Come on now, more margarita.
Oh yeah,
that's what Steve's got on his phone.
Is that from Yoga? What's that from?
Tusk.
That's from Tusk.
Yeah.
Okay, that's funny. Yeah, there's definitely some arrogant people with movies now. It seems like.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, why do you have to be arrogant? Can't it just be fun? Why can't it just be fun? Why do people have to get in arguments over stupid stuff like that?
Yeah, I find that it's usually the people that got into movies yesterday that are like that.
Yeah.
It's always like the hipsters who jump in. They jump from one thing to another, and then they get in and they think they know something.
Mm-hmm.
I see that a lot. It's a lot of the music people who are into music, and then they buy vinyl, and then they jump into something else, and then they watch a few movies, and they're like, I have a great opinion. And it's like, fuck, come on. You just started watching yesterday.
And meanwhile, all the rest of us have been watching movies for 30 years or something, and you got this wet behind the ears somebody coming out there. Oh, I know more than you guys because I watch X, Y, and Z, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely a trend. It's just like the girls thing in horror on Instagram. I won't go far into that, but you know what I'm talking about. Like the girls on Instagram, they're like, here's my movies. And then they're, you know.
It's probably, I don't know this chick's name, but.
And I'm not talking about like the people I'm talking about like the scantily clad ones. I'm talking about like, I'm not talking about like the normal ones who just show me.
Yeah, these are the ones that
are like looking skanky and skimpy. That's like, you know what you're doing.
Wes showed me this picture of this one chick, and she didn't look skanky, and I could only see her from like her waist up. So I don't know what she had on from the waist down, but she was trying to look real sexy, and she had like a Freddy sweater on, and she was a blonde chick. Like, I don't know what her name was. And she's just kind of posing there. She's not even showing any movies or anything.
No.
And Wes told me that was going to be, he either said that was going to be the new member of Dead Pit, or that was somebody they were going to add on the stream or something. And he's like, what do you think, Dana?
Oh my god.
Oh man. Oh man. I will say, I mean, there's some cool, I mean, it's not everybody though. I mean, there's definitely, it's mostly the Instagrammers who only do Instagram. That's what it's not even the people with YouTube, just like those people who just, I don't know what it is. They just found, I guess they think they're going to get popular posting that stuff or something. I don't know.
They might get popular, but it'll be for the wrong reasons, and the wrong people will take notice.
Yeah.
The way they're going about it.
Well, there's definitely some cool ones, like the Mocular Podcast girl. She's cool. Like, I've talked to her online. She's nice. She's just genuinely into movies and stuff, and started learning about them. You can tell when people are like bullshitting you, you know?
Right.
You can just feel it, and you can tell when people are like, yeah. Like, I'm in a Facebook group in Tennessee, and there's a lot of there's people in there. You're like, I get what you're doing here. Like, you're not really into this. And they'll be like promoting their Instagram. It's like, oh God, like OnlyFans or that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, somebody mentioned OnlyFans girls.
Yeah.
I never wanted to do anything like that. When I first got on YouTube, I didn't even want to show my face on there. Now I just get on here and I don't pay any attention. I do these streams so much I don't pay any attention anymore.
Yeah. Well, it used to be, it's funny, horror was always considered to be an odd and nerdy and weird thing back in the day. Yeah. And now it's cool to be a horror fan. So now it's a different culture. You go to high school, you go to college, you're on Instagram. It's cool. You're into horror movies. Oh, that's cool. It's different. Now, man, when I was like in high school and shit, it was like you'd be fucking ostracized for stuff like that.
People looked at me. They looked at me like, I say this all the time, but they would look at me like I woke up and put my clothes on sideways.
Right.
They'd say, "You like what? What movie do you like, Dana?"
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally get that. But see, that's the thing that irks me, and I've said this about zombie films. I liked it when zombie films were on the fringes, where it was uncool and nerdy and geeky to like zombies. Now you got housewives watching The Walking Dead and stuff like that, and all of a sudden it's become cool, and I don't like that.
Yeah, definitely. Walking Dead made it popular. It kind of crossed that threshold.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's shit worse than Walking Dead now on TV than there is in movies in the 80s. Yeah. I mean, I rewatched Hellraiser yesterday, and I was like, this isn't that bad. It's like the worst part is they're pulling his skin apart at the end, but that's not even like, I mean, that's really not even that bad to what's on TV now, you know?
I always thought the Hellraiser films, they get better with each sequel.
I think the first two are my favorites.
Yeah, I like 1, 2, 3's fun. I like 3. Okay,
3's pretty decent, but it just Curly Joss is gonna laugh his ass off at me. But the further on they went, in my opinion, the worse they got.
Oh, I remember. Okay, what to convention? Actually, this is the same convention where I met Steve and Dana at Doug Bradley was there, and I went up to him and I gave him a poster, a mini poster of Hellraiser Hell World, and I said, I want you to sign this. He looked at it, he's just like, what the fuck? He's like, he probably didn't remember making that one. He's like, what sequel is this?
That's awesome.
I was like,
did he sound like Pinhead when he said it, oh Curly Joss?
He probably he mumbled a lot. He said, what the fuck is this?
I heard
Yeah.
I didn't go up and meet Doug Bradley, but I heard I don't think they had like a ultra bad experience with him, but they just talked like he just didn't seem into that whole horror convention thing. He didn't have a lot to
I mean,
say.
he was cool. Like I asked him, like I don't know why I said, what do you think of the Elm Street remake? He said it fucking sucked.
That's hilarious.
I'm like, oh well, this. I'm like, damn. I'm like, all right.
That's funny.
But
Oh man, yeah. That the Pinhead design changed a lot too as they went along. Because that first one, he was pretty creepy when he
Yeah.
first shows up and his voice and all, and it kind of evolved a lot as they went along.
did you
Yeah.
watch Hellraiser Judgment? I think it was called Judgment Day. Or yeah, like Judge. Yeah,
No, I
Hellraiser
think I
Judgment.
tuned out by that time.
No,
That
I've
one
seen
was
clips, but I haven't watched it.
that one was actually really good. I really like that one. A lot of people say, okay, that one is like okay, but so what do you think of this new one? Did you all watch the trailer for the new one coming to Hulu?
I hope it's good. I mean, it looks cool. Like,
Yeah, it looked interesting.
I don't know.
Like I feel like this, like it definitely. I think it's gonna. I think a lot of people are gonna like that one because it's
Yeah, I
supposed
just
to
wonder.
lead to.
I was saying, what's the story? I don't know what it's about, really.
They just say it's a reboot, but it's supposed to. This movie's supposed to kick off like they're gonna do a TV show after this.
Hmm.
I gotta put what Dirk put. He said they always thought I worshiped the devil. Fuck them and feed them fish heads.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I saw the trailer and I wondered what it's about because I know that guy's like talking to him and he's like, what do I get if I open the box? Surprise? And he goes, I will. And I'm like, okay, so, and I'm thinking is that the Frank guy or something? Are they doing some, I don't know what they're going for with the story
So,
because
do you think Doug Bradley makes a cameo in this movie or no?
no, I don't. I think if it makes money, they will if this makes money, I think they'll somehow make it to where this is just a sequel and Doug Bradley can come back. They'll say that this is not Pinhead. This is like someone else. Because they always do that with these things. They always figure out a way, like,
They could be like, that's the bride of Pinhead.
right.
Like, or some shit like that. Or like, that's Pinhead's sister. Bitchhead.
I mean, they do it all the time. It's like they did it with the Star Trek movies. They do it with all these franchises. They always figure out a way to tie in that OG person somehow if they can.
Oh yeah, like you guys say, if something makes money, then they will definitely figure out a way to. They're not gonna take away that bread and butter.
Yeah, you think Halloween is going to end if it makes money?
No, no, it's going to go on forever.
They'll reboot it someone else.
No, this is what they'll do. They'll change. You know how they did with Jason Goes to Hell? They call it Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. They're going to be like, they're going to be like, oh, Halloween ends. They're going to be like, oh, no, this is Halloween just begins or something. They're going to, when they send it to home video or whatever.
It's going to have a big question mark beside ends. Halloween ends? No.
Yeah.
Never going to end.
Nah, they'll never kill Michael, I don't think.
I really wish they just.
Friday the 13th had the final chapter, and they had the final Friday. I mean, and it didn't even stop until Friday.
We all know which one was the better final chapter.
I love part 4. I love part 4. But I also liked the final Friday too. I liked the final chapter better.
Well, Jason being a curse, you really can't kill him. I mean, that they kind of set that up to where like it doesn't matter what you do to him, he's a curse. He's gonna come back always. So it's like can't really kill him. But yeah, the Michael stuff. They'll do like a TV show about Loomis or some shit. Or
That'd be awesome.
I'm sure they'll do something with Michael.
It'll be young Dr. Loomis, the early years or something.
I would if they would have like done this right. I don't know how they're ending this new movie. I have an idea, but like I would have had it to where like they both fucking die, they're both dead, and that's like, and then like if you wanted to tease that he's alive, you could have it to where like right before it ends, you see his chest move a little bit, but that's it. In the series, that's it.
Right.
You know, don't like if you want to make it like maybe he's still alive, that's fine, but just don't make any more movies, you know. But they won't do that, I bet.
But see, I feel like when they keep going on and on and on because it's a money thing for the studios and stuff, I feel like that's a slap in the face to us people that are true fans of that particular series. It's just like, why are you doing this? You're destroying what we loved about that originally by just retreading over and over and over.
Yeah.
I know Curly Jaw's probably going to disagree with me on that because he's newer generation.
Well, it's like the new ones, I mean, I didn't really have a problem with the idea of him coming back and all. It's just, I mean, even with Halloween Kills, Garrett had brought this up, and it's like, if you think about it, that town is like, in Halloween Kills, they're just like, oh, we got to kill this motherfucker. We got to kill him. We got to kill him. And it's like, if it was Halloween 1 and 2, you could kind of see why they would think that, like with the hospital massacre, you could be like, oh yeah, he killed like 15 people that night. But if you're just basing on Halloween, it's like he killed like 3 people and he killed a mechanic, and then they put him in like that's the kind of shit that people forget about in real life. Like, how would that town be that wound up about that shit,
Yeah, they did seem a little, that last movie, before the Halloween ends, they just seemed like they just went ape shit.
And the only reason they took it out was because they didn't want to do the brother-sister thing. And I think they didn't want to have to figure out how to explain how he survived being blown up. Because, like, Halloween 2, it's like he's burned up. It's like, they probably didn't want to explain that, I guess. So they just said, we're not going to do that. But
right.
And
well, guys, I would love to go on all night long, but of course, how I've been feeling has been kind of fluctuating all day long, and so I'm probably gonna have to lay down soon. But I did want to thank my guests on here. I wanted to thank old Curly Jaws. I wanted to thank John for being on here with me tonight. And Dirk's asking, what's y'all's ranking with the Halloween series? Oh, God. I couldn't even do that now. Maybe John and old Curly Jaws can, but my brain's just totally gone.
I could tell you my top 2, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 and Rob Zombie's Halloween be my top picks.
Probably, I mean, favorites, I don't know. I like them all for different reasons. I watch all of them. I like 6. It's stupid, but I like it. But
that's my least. That one sucks. That and the original 2. Yeah, Halloween 6 and the original Halloween 2 I hated.
I like as far as quality, I mean, like 1 and 2 are my favorites as far as like the best, and then 3 is its own thing. I don't love Season of the Witch like everybody. I mean, I feel like I know people are gonna hate me for saying this shit, but like Season of the Witch is one of those things where I think it is a good movie. I think it's underappreciated, but now it's turned into one of those things where people think it's like the best fucking movie ever made, and I'm like,
yeah, and it's almost like they have to, they have to apologize for hating it all those years ago.
Even Tommy Lee Wallace. If you went to Tommy Lee Wallace at a convention and you said Season of the Witch is better than the original Halloween, he'd probably be like, no, it's fine, but it's not that good. Like, it's like the fanboy thing just gets so far. And, you get like Darcy, I know she's a big fan of that, and it's
He
just like
loves it.
I know there's going to be people that think like, oh, that's bullshit, but it's just I don't know. Season Witch is kind of it's good, but I think it's almost getting overrated again with people. But
It's going through a second wave of being overrated.
yeah,
Well, here's what I think. I'll try and make this quick. But the thing about Halloween 3 is maybe it should have never been called Halloween 3.
right.
Because I'll tell you, the first time I saw it, I was like, what in the heck? Where's Michael Myers? Where, because all the other Halloweens had Michael Myers in them. 1 and 2, it had Michael Myers in it. And then Halloween 3 comes along, and it's about a mask maker, and it's about these robots, and it's about bugs and snakes coming out of these kids' heads. And like they should have just called it, maybe just called it Season of the Witch.
They should have called it Season of the Bitch. That would have been a better fucking.
Anything except Halloween 3. And I think we probably wouldn't be having this discussion right now if they had called it anything but Halloween 3.
Whose idea was it to not continue the Halloween? Like, I guess because they thought, oh, he's dead. But still, I
think John Carpenter wasn't really interested in doing anything with Michael Myers at that point in time. And so they were kind of trying to switch gears a little bit.
They wanted to do it that way, it just didn't make enough money to. Well, I agree. I mean, if it was not Halloween, I mean, it's a good movie. I just think it's like it's weird how that happens. Same thing with Friday Part 5. It's like Friday 5 I like, but now it's turning into like the opposite end where people are like, Friday 5 is better than Part 1, and I'm like, okay, let's just calm down with that shit a little bit, but. I don't know. Everybody's got opinions. I don't want to say it's wrong.
I thought I heard John Carpenter or Tommy Lee Wallace or somebody say that their original intention was to make a new Halloween movie every year, but it wasn't always going to be about Michael Myers. It was going to be something different related to Halloween.
Right.
But Halloween Resurrection's one of the best ones. Busta Rhymes.
Oh, that one makes my head hurt thinking about it. Oh, Curly Jaws, it does.
They really need to do a spinoff like HBO Max. Get your shit together. Do a Busta Rhymes Dr. Loomis team up series
with the guy who played Dr. Loomis in Halloween Kills. Oh, that'd be funny.
You need to get on it, oh Curly Jaws. You need to start making these things.
Busta Rhymes is going to be at the end of Halloween Kill or Halloween Ends. Calling it now.
Oh boy. Okay, so on that note, I think I'm going to get on out of here, but I do want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. And whoever wants to join in on the Don't Go in the House watch along tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern time, you're welcome.
Now, is that one on Tubi?
I think I've got a YouTube link for that one.
Okay, that works. I can do a YouTube link.
I'm sorry that it got. Unfortunately, the only link I could find was for the.
Oh, you're good. I didn't think it's gonna be this hard to find the fucking that movie, but it was.
When I first started looking, I didn't. But let's see, and we'll have, like the Matei versus Fragasso next Tuesday. Cheese Extreme Wednesday will be on Wednesday, and who knows, I might throw in some surprises. But as always, anybody can be on the stream anytime they want. I have not had any trouble with anybody yet, and I don't suspect I will. Unless we just get one of those rogue people that comes in here and wants to be an asshole, and then I'll have to kick them off. But so far, nobody has done that. We've had a lot of fun with these things, or I feel like we have. So stay tuned for all of that. And I'm going to be picking a movie for this next Saturday. And we'll see what I'll pull one out of a hat or something. We'll figure something out for the coming Saturday. So everybody have a good night, and I will probably see several of y'all tomorrow at 6.
Cool. Later.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
Sweet.